massive, massive.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the West Ham Review. Hope you've had a good day and not too wet because obviously it rained a bit earlier on. But other than that, we're here. We're finally here. Sorry it was late. We were trying to sort some stuff out. We've got there anyway in the end, so apologies for the lateness. But other than that, Budgie, welcome, mate. How are you?
Good evening, Tom. Yeah, I'm good, mate. It's been quite a week for me. I've had Tuesday night with Jeff and Wednesday night last night with Kieran, and tonight with you. It's quite an eventful week this week, I think. So yeah, I'm enjoying this.
Yeah, should be a good one. Let's say look, good people as always. We'll have us. We'll hopefully have James coming back with us and possibly Jeff. So we can go from there. But the first is lovely Happy Amaret. Oi oi Hammerloys, and she sent to both channels. Good evening, Howard. I hope you're well. Same for yourself. And also, yeah, you sound like them as well. Yeah, share your favourite Ludo moments in the chat. Absolutely, yeah. Don't be afraid to put what you think of the great man. Tony's like, I've made it then. I've made it. If I can be on still time, I've made it. That's what I've done, basically. Here he is. Good evening, James. How are you, mate?
All good, mate. All good. What we all saying?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now. That's the key thing. Evening to Daz. And obviously Miss Hammerett, good to see you as well. Hey. And good evening to Colin, Tont and Budge and lovely. And obviously you know that he'll say hello to James as well when he's all in.
Yeah.
So going on from there, we'll catch up with the chat and we can then talk about our great business we're doing so far. Or lack of.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, what business would that be?
Oh, mate, I know.
Wait, listen, this is not your bloody toilet.
That's a fancy toilet, arc of that. Terence, good to see you as well, mate. Love to Ludo, absolutely. Usual, good evening, mate. The Crawley chef in chief, and also the evening to the lovely Mama Flossie as well. And everyone say good night to you as well, which is always nice when they say hello to each other. And we're there. If we didn't laugh, we'd scream. Yes, and I think that's the main thing we can only do at the moment in Samarit. With what's going on there, we've got to keep laughing because that's what this club does. And even there, and the last one, the usual. Right. Well, what do you want to start off with?
Transfer window. Okay, that's done. Right, what should we talk about now?
Yeah, now. Yeah, the so-called £10 million deal for this Ezekiel Bamboozle or whatever his bloody name is. I'll start off with you, James, on this one. What do you make of that?
It's the joke this
Ian Lloyd.
it's been a joke this week, isn't it? I was gonna say this fucking year, but you know what I mean, it's been a joke this week. Duran on Tuesday or Monday, was it? You know what I mean? Like 57 mil, I'm gonna drop that. I've just done a video on E20, 10-minute video, just sort of expressing my disbelief at this club at the minute. Andre Silva, we've been linked with him today, and
Yes.
he's currently injured. It makes no sense to me, and you know, the sooner the owner goes, the better. But the thing is, like, how many times can you keep saying that before you start getting tired? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, this week, I thought the Dutch lad would have been done today. That's stalling by the looks of it. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's just West Ham United, mate, for straight.
I mean, Budgie, what do you make of this situation? Like, you know, as James said, I mean, the fact that we've gone back in for Duran when we already kind of ballsed it up in the first place.
Yeah,
Why do we need to go back?
I mean, this is, as I said, this is probably going to be the third time I've said this week on air. But I think, you know, the Duran business should have been done and dusted when we failed to get him last time. We should not have been pursuing that boy. I'm sorry. He clearly didn't want to come to West Ham. Why would you pursue someone who doesn't want to come? You know, and, you know, there are a lot of other decent strikers out there that we could be wasting our time chasing that may even want to come to West Ham. You know, if we've got 57 million to go and throw out at Dr. Rat, we could get a 20-goal a season Italian league striker for that, or a French league striker, or a Spanish league striker, maybe with 10 to 15 goals a season. You know, why would you go and chase someone that we've already chased and failed and clearly doesn't want to come?
Yeah, I don't see the sense of it myself. Even Jonah to Adama as well. I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? I mean, we've already, like I said, we ballsed up the first time. We've now kind of ridiculed ourselves for the second time. And for Villa, which we've got coming up on the weekend, that's an easy one, isn't it? Duran starts, and his goal is bang one past them. Let's make it count. They've done this twice to us now.
Yeah.
So bang a couple of goals past them, and let's settle it.
It's embarrassing, mate. Like, I'm going to be honest. Like, this club is I don't want to lose my rag, but I'm like I'm getting to a stage now where like the owner's taking the piss out of us. But at the fans now, like, how can you drop two bids of 45 and 57 for Duran when Villa have told you how much that they want for him? But they've made it categorically clear that he's not going to go for anything less than 70, or going up to about 85 mil.
Yeah.
So you go and drop a 45 million pound bid the other week, 57 million pound this week, and people go, "Oh yeah, we're testing the water." What are you testing the water for? Do you know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to gain from that? Like, we don't hold the cards; they hold the cards, and we have to do what they say. And the thing is, another thing is that this week I would have assumed, maybe I'm thick or something, but I would have assumed that West Ham would have done business this week.
You said it, didn't you, on your show the last week? I remember you saying it.
Yeah, right. I know. I thought, right, you can accept last week because you had 2 games in 4 days. You had Fulham on the Tuesday, Palace on the Saturday. I can sort of get it to a point. Don't agree with the Palace one, but I can let it go. A whole week's gone by near enough now, and we've not signed one player. And we need players in key positions. And people keep saying to me, "Oh, you can't find any decent players in the January window." Says fucking who? Honestly, I'm going to be honest. It says who? Like, you can go out there and find anyone. Look at Man City have just dropped £80 million out on Frankfurt's best player.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not saying like for us to go and spend 80 million, but I'm asking us to go and spend something to show some sort of to support Potter to a point. I know I'm echoing, but like, why is he not supporting Potter? Because I say this quite openly, right? My biggest fear is Sullivan now, because it goes full circle now. Now we've got Potter in charge. We've got a good manager in charge, I think. But I think we've got someone who knows what they're doing. He plays a modern style of game. Why is Sullivan not helping the geezer out with signings? It baffles me. It really does, mate.
I mean, that's the figure. I mean, you expect now. I mean, we've only got just over a week now before the window shuts, and you know what's going to happen. We're going to get the same old dross. We tried, and it's going to be that same old rinse and repeat every January window from this club. And Sullivan's the one, as you said, is the instigator of it all. But to turn and say that we can't get anyone, like you both alluded to, and that City can go and buy this. Budgie said you can go to Italy, etc. They're out there. But what would we look for? We look for another midfielder when we're crying out for a striker. And then we're looking at people like Awonyi in that, who has a bit of a track record of being injured. And as you said, the other guy, I think the Gomez, Alex, I mean, and he's injured as well. So where are we going with this?
And even Andre Silva currently right now, right? I looked at his injury record. He's currently injured now, and we are looking at trying to sign him. It just doesn't make no sense. Like, as a young lad,
it's the cheaper option, James.
Yeah, but if I want cheap, I'll buy a fucking canary. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, we shouldn't be accepting cheap. Like, no, like, and listen, we've all put our money into this club over the years, right? We all have, yeah. And when I see the list come out for the 17th richest club in world football currently right now, doesn't that make you sick? Because it makes me sick that we're the 17th richest club in world football currently right now, and we haven't even got a proven striker at our club. Like, I know that I'm going into a bit of a sort of depressing rant, and I will shut up in a minute, but on this one, I just cannot believe that this week they've done nothing, and he needs help. And the thing is, he's going to go to Villa on Sunday, and we are going to be right up against it, like massively up against it against them. Yeah, especially the way they played against Arsenal the other week. We've got no centre forward. We've got one centre half. We're going to be chucking Casey in, I think, because from what I looked at the training videos the other day, it looks like he could be starting for us, right? So we're going to throw him in. I hope he can somehow get through 90 minutes with us. It's just, I just don't get this club, mate. I don't get this owner. I really don't. I don't get what he's trying to do. Logical thinking would be there's a Strasbourg striker, Dutch under 21 international, Omega. Yeah, Emmanuel Omega. Done a video on him the other day.
Yeah.
He's sitting there, right? You can go and get him for 25 mil. But then you're prepared to drop 57 mil on a man that you can't get. Like, it just, it's like me going into a fucking Ferrari shop and saying, right, I want to buy a Ferrari. Right, how much is it? He says it's £1 million. All right, I'll give you fucking 200 grand for it. Do you know what I mean? It ain't going to work.
Like that. It is like that. And, I mean, any club doing business, they must be thinking, like, West Ham that desperate to come in with something like that, and hoping we're going to turn and say, well, he's sitting on the bench, and why not? Yeah, we'll take that. As you said, 45 million when the clear price tag was 70. It's clear and visible, 70. So we go with 45, and then we think we're clever by going up to 57, just to make a mockery of ourselves. It's just.
Did you see the Simon Jordan discussion about Duran the other day on TalkSport? I don't know whether you.
I heard about 3 calls.
Right, he basically called Sullivan out there and then and said, "What are you trying to do? Like, why are you trying to go for a player that A, doesn't want to come to you, B, Villa hold all the keys, and basically they want this figure and they ain't going to budge for you. So what are you trying to gain from this?" Like, his words were, "What is the point?"
Like, well, we know what the point is. The point is so that he can say, "Well, I tried."
Yeah, but I think it goes way beyond this now, though, doesn't it? Let's be honest.
It's making a mockery of the system, really. To be fair, and it kind of embarrasses us as fans. It embarrasses us,
this month so far has been a bit of embarrassment as a whole. like the sacking of Junior Lopetegui was the right sacking to do, but
Yep.
the way it was handled was
The
disgusting.
wrong way, yeah.
Yeah, right. And then you've got the situation currently right now where we're scrambling about for players. And I understand when people say to me, "Oh, Jay, but like, come on, wouldn't you wait till the summer?" It's a lot of work to do in the summer.
Oh,
If you
blimey.
if you just sit back, look at the current team right now, and just, I suggest anyone go and do it. Go and list all 25 players currently at West Ham. See what players you would keep and what players you would sell. I think we need about 9 players, and that's not even a joke. Like, actually, off the top of my head, like I think we need. We definitely going to need a covering left back in the future. I know Scholes is coming into the fray, but I think Emerson could go. Cresswell's gone. Definitely need a new goalkeeper at the club, like, because we've got two goalkeepers that can't play at the back. We need a covering centre half. We need to get rid of Mavropanos to replace him. Like, the midfield needs to be restructured. And for some crazy reason, which we are in 2025, we haven't got a known striker at our club, and that. It's just, you know, like,
it's just embarrassing. Before we're going to bring Jeff in because he's just sitting in the background. I mean, this is another kind of where we're being pissed around with. Obviously, you said about the Duran thing, but this is the thing. You know, if we have that type of money and that is big, because we're hearing, and you know, Colin's hearing it. I think we've all seen the thing that we don't have much money. I mean, what do you make of that? Good evening, Jeff.
Evening, guys. How's everyone? All right?
Jeff. All good, all good. Welcome in, mate.
Thank you.
I mean, yeah, to say that we haven't got the money, but yet we're going to, as you said, James, we're going to slap £57 million out of nowhere. But then you got Sullivan saying, "Oh, we ain't got much money." Again, it's taking the mickey out of the fans again.
It is. It is. I'm going to be honest before I let sort of Jeff land on what he wants to say. But did anyone really genuinely believe that we was going to get John Duran for £57 million?
No.
Like, and if you know it as a supporter, whether like you're in East London or in the other side of Australia, yeah, we're not stupid as supporters of this club. Like, that's one thing that we're not. Like, we can see it, and especially people that have seen Sullivan in action do this for many a year. Like, he's done this numerous occasions with numerous. Like, I remember Maxi Lopez back in the day. I remember Carlos Bacca back in the day. I remember them all. Do you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's the same thing over and over again. We look like we're trying to do something. It shows him in a good light, and then he pulls the rug from underneath us and ends up with a fucking Andre Silva.
Well, did you see the other one though that was kind of banded around, kind of thing, and that, you know, that apparently we're lining up a deal to get Neymar for 25 million.
What was that? His weekly wage?
Yeah, it probably was, but you know, it's like, oh yeah, you can see Neymar and that, you know, what's it, £300,000 a week and that. Yeah, I'll just come to West Ham and that, take a massive wage cut.
I know Aymar from Barking Road. That's a. I don't know Neymar. Aymar, though. I don't know. It's baffling, mate. Honestly.
I mean, look, Terence has got here. What are your thoughts on Ben Chilwell? We're in need of a striker, but we can't let our defence stay as shit as it is.
I agree with the sentiment of that, but Ben Chilwell is not the right player. Again, you know, another sick note. You know, why are we going for these players that are notoriously injury prone? Why? Because they're the cheaper fucking option. Sorry, excuse me swearing, but you know, every time there's an angle. Every single signing we make, there's an angle. You know?
But for 25 million for what you've just described, is it really a cheap option? It's just a stupid option, I think.
Yeah.
It's not even especially cheap, is it?
No.
25 million pounds, right? You can go and find something better than that. An injury prone, aging. He's not old, is he? But he's getting towards the age. If he's suffering the injuries that he suffered, it's not all. He's going to become, if possible, more injury prone, right? And that's another 25 million down the drain when he's worth fuck all in 18 months, 2 years time.
Yeah. I mean, if we wanted to go for somebody that's, you know, strong in defence and that, why aren't we going for players like Lamina or someone like that? You know, players that are really good in defence.
Mm.
Why are we not going for those kinds of players? I only use Lamina as a reference, because he is a decent defender. Why are we not looking at players like that? Because
Well,
they're not
Mr.
the
Trick,
cheap ones.
when you got the likes of Anderson going from Fulham to Palace for the money he went for, and then you look at what we've done.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we missing tricks like that?
Yeah.
I think he's a really good player, that Anderson. I can't believe that Palace just went and let him go, Fulham let him go to Palace like that. And we weren't even in the conversation. We didn't even look at him.
No, it's true. Just saying to Brian CFC, big up always, my guy. Thank you very much, sir. Early Football TV and the check. Big up to yourself, mate. But it's always the way, though, Jeff, isn't it? When you think there's a player we should be going for, and it don't even twitch, a thought in their eyes. It just completely let these players go, and that's unfortunately seems to be the way of the last couple of seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, Daz is asking the question: who do you think we'll get rid of this January?
I'm not sure we'll get rid of anyone.
How is Guido still here?
It's supposed to be gone, hasn't he?
Yeah, apparently it was only about 7 weeks ago. He couldn't stand it here and he wanted to go back to Betis. And it's now the 23rd of January and he's still here. Like it just baffles me. It really does, the way this club is run. Like, because I'm not being funny, I could go out and I could find 1,000 people who could run it better than Sullivan. That's no joke. And he sits there, and when you see sort of a list come out of us being the 17th richest club in world football currently right now, like we're in a ground that we don't own. We don't even have an out and out centre forward at the club currently right now, under the age of 30. Right, we've got one centre half currently right now. It just feels. I don't know. I don't know how it feels really. I really don't. I'm a bit lost in this one. I don't get what they're trying to do, and I feel like that they're stitching Potter up to a point. Yeah, he's going, well, basically, you've got to work with this to the summer.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It seems to be, doesn't it? I mean, they're doing secret squirrel, though, James, isn't it? They're not alluding to that, but it seems to be that could possibly be the case.
Yeah, like, that's my biggest fear. Honestly, that is my biggest fear, that you end up getting a good manager that can take us forward, and then you've got the owner again who holds back the reins again. Do you know what I mean? I don't know about yous, but obviously the Steinem thing's come out today about Steinem could be going, and obviously, like, people are saying, "Oh, look, this is because of the window. Look at the window and all that." What are you saying about Steinem, you boys?
Me personally, I've never been on the he's our saviour bandwagon. I've always kind of questioned, because I could never find things that backed up the claims that everyone was making about him. So I was a bit, okay, well, maybe you're better informed than me. Let's see what he does. And then now we've seen what he's done. Lots of it's been largely unimpressive. I'll tell you one thing. He's been good at getting players. He's been good at getting deals over the line, going out and getting them. And I think he should get credit for that. And now the pack's turned on him a little bit, and it's all starting out and he's useless and all that. And again, I'm a little bit, rather than just jump on the bandwagon, I'm a little bit, okay, I am critical of him, and I think he deserves criticism for where he's fallen down. We can point the finger. And if that's a reason for him to lose his job, fair enough. He should lose his job. But I do think he has been hamstrung in his role of what he's been asked to do and how he's been able to go about it. That said, I think he's about as slimy as Sullivan if you look at a lot of the stuff that's gone on, So I think they all fit in nicely there. They probably rub along quite nicely together.
The only thing I'll say on it with Steinem, because when he come in, I agree with you, Jeff. Yeah, he was hyped up beyond hype, because everyone couldn't stand the previous manager. That's what it basically was. Because if Moyes would have been everyone's like flavour of the month, no one would have mentioned Steinem. Really, they really wouldn't. Yeah, so he comes in just after Prague, and I would have assumed, and I say this on quite a few shows, I would have assumed that when the board sit down there and say, right, what do we need? right, we need to get centre forward right. The moment he goes out to Brazil on his third trip, brings back Luis Guilherme, and then loses the Duran deal, that is as careless for me. That really is, because we could have got Duran in the summer. If you take the 19 million away, don't even sign Luis Guilherme, and you go, right, you add the 19 million to the 40 million that we've got the money to pay the Villa for Duran, and that to me is just unacceptable. And then to go from John Duran, 21, up and coming, to then a 31-year-old Nicholas Fulcrew, I just think that is, if that was a previous regime, they would have got hung out to dry. And yeah, I think basically that's what's happening with him. Really, Sullivan stitched him up to a point. I can go with that, but Stone hasn't done himself no favours. I'm being honest.
And the other one we missed out on, that was what was his name? That winger, Ibrahim
Osman. This time last year.
Yeah,
talking to the wrong agent, wasn't it? That was the wrong agent affair.
Yeah, the double agent stuff. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Behind the Iron Curtain, Jeff. That's the one. And he's supposed to have ended up at Brighton. I don't think I've seen him play yet.
He's out on loan, isn't he? They loaned him out.
Oh, Jesus Christ. They should have loaned it to us. That would have been even more of a mistake.
That would have been hilarious. That would have given West Ham clips another video to make.
Oh, dear, man.
Under West Ham.
Steve Bill saying the same. As long as we stay in the Premier League, that's all Sullivan's interested in, basically.
As a fan base, we're all really saying that the season's gone right. It's sort of written off, isn't we? As a fan base, right? There's no optimism there. Do you think, as a board, if you're the owner, and we've got Sullivan, right? And this is a different entity altogether, but just looking at it practically, you've spent 120 plus million to assemble this squad. You've just got rid of your manager. We're committed to spending maybe 50 million of next season budget already on players in the team already. If you keep Soler and sign to Debo, that's what, 55 million?
Around that,
yeah. We need 9 points to stay up, maybe?
Yeah, about that, yeah.
So you're probably looking, and we've got a coach that he will use the youth and he will develop players. So not in the way that Lopetegui was like, we wouldn't have any trust in any of that youth coming through. When you look at Potter, what he's done, his history, you think now you're looking at Scholes perhaps breaking into the edge of the team, and you think, actually, he will bring him in though, right? And come next season, if he's not a fixture, he's going to be big impact in that first team, I think. He looks like a first team player. So if he gets these few months behind him, there's real good development going on in our youth. If he brings Orford through, he gets a few minutes, fans would be really pleased about that. However bad we are or could be, we'll get 9 points and we won't get relegated. And for Sullivan, I think that'll do. Stay in the league.
Yeah, but where's the prep work for next season though, Jeff? That's the problem.
But it's not happening in January, is it? See, if we be realistic about what we need at our football club and what we're going to get in a transfer window in January, we're not going to recruit the best in the possessions we need in the finances that we got. And I'll be honest, I've got no idea what the club finances are, but I reckon we've got about 25 million to spend, maybe 30 million. I don't know what anyone else thinks about that. Well, like you said earlier about the 57 million, do you believe it? Not me. No. Do I believe that they put whatever deal to? Did they think it was going to be accepted and there was any chance a deal was going to go through? No fucking way. We've seen it before. Yeah. You listed a few. More recently, we had Phillips and Rafinha and all them 50 million bids that went in. It's all just bollocks. There's one thing for certain, right? The rumours about Sullivan being back in charge is blatantly true that he is, because the same old shit is going on, right? Yeah. This has got Sullivan all over it, innit?
quite transparent.
It
isn't
has,
Very
it
transparent.
has. But the way I look at this, there's two ways of looking at it. You can look at it on the one hand, and for me, I look at it and think we need to act now, not later. Like I think going in the summer and trying to get every position sorted out, we're going to have a similar situation that we had this season, where we're going to try and bed players in. They're going to need time to gel and all that.
Yeah.
I think Carl McCauley, if he's coming in, there may be they've turned around and said, and this is the only thing I can sort of defend the ball to a point, which is like, and this is coming from me, and I fucking hate them, is that if they've turned around and said, right, Carl, when you arrive in the summer, you've like, if this is, we're going to hand it over to you, but until that time, we ain't going to sign anyone. I think people would accept that to a point, knowing full well that he's coming in, but it doesn't mean to say it's not right. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's definitely players out there that West Ham could go and get with 6 months left on their deals and bring them to the club and just drop in small bids for players. Like, I done a video the other day. I mentioned an up and coming under 21 Dutch international. There's another lad out in Parma who's a centre forward. Another one who's 21, up and coming. There's a lot of up and coming players out there, but what I can't get with West Ham is you go from £57 million to John Duran, and now we're going, right, we ain't going to get anyone. We're just going to go for a lonely, injury-prone striker. We're going to pay, what, 70 grand a week? Like,
It's a loan, isn't it? Is that your Silver you're talking about?
Yeah, Silver. But if you look at his injury record...
No, I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's a loan, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's just their intentions are quite clear, isn't it? It's just like, get us to the end of the season, couple of loans. If we get a couple of loans and a permanent, we'll be lucky in this window. Probably end up with a couple of loans. But when you were saying about those players you're referring to, James, I mean, what sort of budgets are you looking at for them?
Well, I done a video the other day. I mentioned a geezer who he's going to in the region of 13.8 million euros, all the way up to 23.8, I think it is, something like that. In that figure ballpark, yeah. Plays for Strasbourg. He scored some goals this year. He's up and coming. He's fresh. He's ready. He can play. I look at it. Aston Villa go out and they go and take Borussia Dortmund's player like that and don't even hesitate. With us, it's like we can't find no one.
Is that left back you're talking about?
You got the left back. You got
they signed the left back the other day, didn't they, Villa?
Yeah, and they got Marland and all from Borussia Dortmund.
£7 million, 21 years old or something, right?
Yeah.
All the fucking nonsense going on about Duran going on around it. Don't hear enough of that. They just signed him. They just went, yeah, no, we signed this guy, £7 million. Yeah. It's always baffled me. Where's West Ham's business like that? That's the business, and I'm guessing that's what you're sort of alluding to there, James. Go out, find these players for 10 or 15 million pounds, and do some shrewd business.
The thing is, what do you learn from an Andre Silva? Nothing, really.
Nothing.
He comes in, he wears the shirt, people get gassed for a few months, then at the end of that, he's gone.
It's just a stopgap, though, right?
Yeah, it's a stopgap, but then. My attitude is why you're not investing in the future then. Like that's what I can't get. Like 17th richest club in world football currently right now. We ain't even got a centre forward at the club. Like that.
Yeah, but it's notoriously difficult to do that in January, James.
I don't know about that one. Like look at Forest. They just put a £22 million bid in for Wissa. Like
they
haven't even hesitated. Do you know what I'm saying? And we are hesitating.
And apparently also they're lining up a bid for Cunha as well. So, they're just showing their ambition straight away. It's cementing where they are.
Well, what it is, they're looking at it and thinking, look where we are. Right, we need to strengthen to try and make sure we cement this. Yeah. And my fear is that if you go out and leave it to the summer, we're going to need a lot of work. A hell of a lot of work. And the problem is, this fan base, what I've noticed through doing YouTube for 3 years, is this fan base will soon turn if it ain't going right. Like they will soon turn, And I think you're literally handing Potter a load of shit and saying turn shit into gold, basically, and it ain't gonna work. Like Andre Silva, I'm not on that one. The Duran one irritates us because he's mugging us all off as supporters of this club. it's not only mugging us off as supporters of this club, it's making us fall out with Villa now, because Villa have got the ump with that, especially when you drop it 24 hours, I think it was, before their Champions League game, which they lost in. And then it's just burning bridges. It just doesn't make no sense. It really don't.
I mean, Collins here started. I don't care whether he stays or goes because he has made some rickets, but do feel he's gone. We're still going to feel Sullivan, which we just alluded to. It's, as Jeff said, we know it's quite transparent that he's doing all the business now, and that puts us where we are, unfortunately.
Really, Titan shows really what he's about by not sticking his fingers up and saying "fuck you." He's been undermined and demoted, publicly humiliated, really, in a way. And he's still smiling around, strutting around, rush green, I'm allowed back in the training ground, stick my scarf on, go off to my office. Like, he's got not much dignity about himself, really.
No,
because, fuck
it's,
you.
it's one of those, Jeff, isn't it?
Treat me like this.
Cool. Well, and, most people would do that, wouldn't you? I mean, you stick your two fingers up and say thank you, but no thanks. But, look, let's see now. We've done it recently with Lopetegui and Olsen. Sullivan's hoping to do the best with him. And hopefully he's going to walk because he's publicly put it out there that basically this bloke ain't been good enough. But this seems to be Sullivan's way. If I put it out there publicly, he goes. If we put it out there publicly, he's going to walk. But, Stein, by looks of it, he's not stupid, is he? He's a little bit different to Lopetegui. As much as he's made some rickets, he knows he's going to walk away just like Lopetegui has, with £1 and pence in his pocket. He ain't going to worry about that side of things, regardless of what Sullivan puts out in the media. He's a bit more savvy than that. But we said about money side of things, so we move on to the next subject. Who's got an Amazon Prime account?
Me.
So you've just bought into the club, Budgie. Well done, mate.
Well, again, mate, more of my money going into the club.
Gents, and the people in the chat, what do we make of this? The so-called naming rights to the stadium, and obviously tying up a shirt sponsorship deal with Amazon of all people.
It's investment into the club, massive company, pumping money in, investing for West Ham to invest. All good. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think they're not like a shady or badly thought of company, are they? Overly, a bit about their delivery drivers and their warehouse, but I mean, what company ain't? And we've got Saudi Arabians in charge of Newcastle, right? Beheading people in the squares in their country. So don't get too moral about it. What I've found strange is the leap from becoming a sponsor to outright ownership, and I think that's
ownership.
I think that's a little bit of a stretch and a leap at this stage.
We spoke about this on Tuesday, actually, Jeff, didn't we?
Yeah, no, I don't think we spoke about it because I don't think it was announced on Tuesday.
Or maybe it was Kieran and I that spoke about it last night.
You probably spoke about it last night. Yeah, I think that's a bit of a leap. I
mean, the thing is, I think, as you say, the shirt sponsorship, and maybe even naming the bloody stadium. The Amazon Arena sounds brilliant.
Sounds all right to me.
Yeah. I love the sound of that, the Amazon Arena. And they're the sort of company that if they did invest heavily into a club and they heard all the grumblings and groanings of all the fans saying the match day experience is shit, and all the away fans saying the match day experience is shit, they're going to rebuild that stadium if they invest heavily.
I don't know where that's come from. I don't know what gives you that.
No, that's not come from anywhere, Jeff. That is my own personal. I think they're the sort of company that have got endless amounts of money, and for them, like if they were to rebuild the stadium, Jeff, right, the entire the entire income from that would belong to Amazon. You know, they would control everything that goes on in that stadium.
But this is where I'm coming from when I say I'm talking about the league. We're talking about stadium naming rights and shirt sponsorship, and then that's turned into rebuilding the stadium.
Yeah, well, you know,
How
that's
did
what we
that
do as
happen
West
from
Ham fans.
putting Amazon or Prime across a shirt to suddenly bulldozers?
Because you know what it is, Jeff.
Big
Some
league,
people
right?
some people speculated because obviously if that happens, then the next thing that's going to happen is they're going to buy the club, and
Because they sponsored the club.
yeah. So they think because of that, that's the starting block to take ownership of the club.
I get where people have gone, but I just think they've gone from
It might not
0
even
to
be
100. Like
Wow.
Yeah.
What I'm
0.1 seconds. Yeah.
what I'm actually saying really is though that with a sponsor like Amazon Prime on your shirt, it's going to attract American ownership, perhaps, or you know, because it's a big American company.
Should be
You know,
interesting.
worldwide company now, but it's an American company, and therefore, if they can get into West Ham by sponsoring the shirt, then you know why can't I make an offer for the club? Todd Bowley did it at Chelsea, etc., etc.
Sure, but they don't need to be. If they wanted to buy the football club, they don't have to go. Oh, shall we just sponsor them for 100 odd million, and maybe we'll do like. Just they want to buy the club, put in a fucking offer for it, showing interest. They ain't shown any interest. They just said, "Yeah, all right, you're looking for sponsors. We'll sponsor you. We get our exposure in the stadium. Amazon Prime get their benefit. West Ham get their benefit." I just think they're from ownership. From like being shirt sponsors to becoming owners is like
let me just
a
say hello to
million miles apart.
this new person. He's a new person in onto the chat. NWO Police. Nope. We can attract what we can attract. We have some great players. Just need a few more on a forward, which I think we've all agreed on that side of things. But going back onto the Amazon thing, James, what did you make of that?
Franchise football, ladies and gentlemen. In the beginning and the end, if you want me to be honest. Don't get me wrong, I want Sullivan at the door as much as the next man. I really do. And so I can go back and watch West Ham play live for the first time in 9 years. But this is a major concern. It's a good investment for the club. If an American comes in and buys the club, then we ain't going to be the West Ham that we once were, and we're not that really now to a point. And we need someone to come in who understands West Ham United Football Club. I'll wait and see. I've heard Saudi links. I've heard what was the other one that Tony Cottee had with Tom Skinner and all that, right? So
Consortium, yeah.
And I'll wait and see. Yeah, I'll wait and see on this. But if it does happen, it'd be a good thing for West Ham. But this franchise football side of things, yeah, it's not good, mate. It's not good.
That's the way world football's going, James.
Yeah, I know, but the problem is
if we don't get in on that bandwagon, we're going to end up, League Two team. Because we'll just get out financed. We'll just get financed out of the game.
What it is that in 10 years' time, this is my biggest fear of the whole thing, is that in 10 years' time we will be in a ground with football fans rather than supporters, and that is the biggest fear. When you're going to the ground right now and you're seeing tourist fans arriving and watching a game in a different shirt, that really tells you quite a lot. And what is that going to be like in 10 years' time when the generations start to turn over? The young lads who are going now, who are 19, 20, are in their 30s. They've got kids, they've got a mortgage, they've got to pay rent, they've got bills coming out of their ear rolls. And what it is, it just price out the locals. For me, it's not about the money, it's about the history of West Ham. And it's always been my fear. I'm going to be straight. I've said it for a long time. This is someone told me a long time ago.
I do get that sentiment 100%, James. But the thing is, you can't hold on to the history to the detriment of the future of the club.
But what is the future without the history, though, mate? because you can't describe West Ham in the future if you haven't got the history to back it. And do you know what I'm saying? Listen,
West Ham's history will always follow it wherever it goes, whatever it does. Always.
I think there's an element of, James said earlier, when Steidham came in under such fanfare, everyone was so desperate for him to be successful, right? Because everyone was so desperate, against Moyes, that they thought he was going to be the saviour. And I think people have alluded a bit like, oh, Amazon, they come in, they sponsor us. Oh, they buy us. It'll all be fantastic. Oh, American owners. Well, we've got American owners in the Premier League already. And if you look at those owners at Manchester United, right, they are widely despised and have been for a long, long time there. So I think you've got to be careful not to have the rose tinted, really wealthy American owners going to come in, everything's going to be fantastic, because might have tyrants, like Sullivan's a tyrant, right? The Glazers are a tyrant. Bezos come in, he could be just as much of a fucking tyrant. And James is right about the franchise thing. If he's really forward planning to say, oh, that's the way into the Premier League, and then get all of his streaming rights and one thing and another, that might not really be. We might reap some benefits of that football club, but actually might not be great for the league. And how many owners do we need before they start voting? And then how many games will be held stateside and all of these things everyone's fearful of?
Yep, we saw
become
Arsenal
a reality, right?
Yeah, you're making right there, Jeff, because Arsenal did it in the summer, didn't you? You think they went all them stadiums they went to, because obviously the Cronkies, and it just shows you how bad it was, because I think one of them you had to pay $1,400 as a ticket, just one ticket. So that just shows where it could go.
I say it quite a lot on E20. Having Lucas on E20 really sort of gives me an insight into American franchise sports. And Lucas tells me about the situations where the ticket prices are extortionate to a point where he couldn't even go to a NFL game. It's like $800, $900 in some places just to go and watch a game for X amount of time. Listen, I get that everyone wants West Ham to progress. I want Sullivan out the door. Yeah, I really do. I don't think he's the right man for West Ham. I think when people say about players have done their time, managers have done their time, I think this owner's done his time and all. And I think this owner should say, you know what, enough's enough. But I don't want West Ham to lose its spirit and its heart. That's the one thing I don't want to see happen. I don't want us all to go there in 10 years' time, 20 years' time or whatever. Or if I have kids, I don't want my kids to go there and see it as just a football match and a football club, and just be surrounded by a load of football fans and not supporters. Do you know what I mean? Because you can have the amount of people I speak to who say to me, I'd rather go away from home than at home. Yeah, I don't like the place. Like, one or two you can accept, yeah, because you can't please everyone. But when you're doing speaking to many people and they're saying the same thing over and over again, questions need to be asked of why. Yeah, and I understand we're in the modern day game. Don't get me wrong, I get all that, but that is the biggest fear with me. That if you try, like Sullivan's turned it into a franchise by saying West Ham London and all this bollocks, right? He started this. If an American comes in, they will go through it like an American sports franchise, and you never get it back. Then look at the Cronkies at Arsenal. Arsenal fan what they think of the Cronkies. You know what I mean?
No, exactly. Usual saying, Bezos and Musk take over. We can be the first team on the moon. Unfortunately, Musk is definitely interested in buying Liverpool. So, yeah, be a shame. I mean, I'm just going to go back. There's a comment I starred here. Dad's obviously asking, and we'll come to this one, but it was this one I was more interested in. Old man saying we need to stabilise first, get league position, then we can start to produce a conveyor of talent to sell for profit. And the reason why I've started this one on it just reminds us of the old days with the Cairns, the Terence Browns of this world, where we literally produced these youngsters, sold them on for profit, but basically didn't make any profit because we had no sell on or buy on, sell on clauses on this. Do we want to go down that road again?
Well, if you look at what Chelsea do, that's really what they do with a lot of their
Look at what
academy
Brighton
products,
do.
don't they?
Brighton was to be the best model, Jeff. Yeah. I
Well,
agree with what you say with
Brighton-
Chelsea, but
Brighton
Brighton
produce a few real diamonds, don't they, and sell
Mm.
them for huge money, right? But Chelsea produce a steady stream of youngsters that might not go for 80 and 100 million all the time, but steadily go for 25, 30, whatever million, right? For whatever reasons, because they don't seem to get a lot of first team football, but they seem to be able to achieve these prices for these youngsters. So they're doing something right.
Yeah.
And
Man
we're
City,
failing miserably because we've never been good at this. That's the one thing we talk about. Pots, I don't know if you spoke about it earlier or not, and rumours, and as James was saying about, we've upset Villa and Chelsea have upset Palace with recalling their lone player. Now we've got an injury crisis, and so we could justify recalling Potts. But if we do that, we need to play him, right? Because he's playing every week at Portsmouth. He's doing really well down there. They love him down there. He's an attribute to their team. If we pull him out of there, that's going to be potentially another relationship that we've ruined, right? Now, if he goes down there and he does really well, he might be in our first team next year. And guess what? We might be able to send another player out to develop with Portsmouth and build up a decent relationship instead of keep fucking ruining relationships all the time.
True. It's true. Like, literally, I couldn't agree more. Like, I really couldn't. Like, amount of Pompey fans that I see on X who can't rave about Freddie Potts enough. I'm just saying. And then,
yeah, exactly.
And the thing
Yeah,
is,
Brendan.
I had this argument last week with Irish Tommy on West Ham Network, and we were saying about the youth on one side and buying progressive players. My attitude to it is West Ham, when you're the 17th British club, you've got to go out and buy the best in class, and the youth should be a bonus to a point. You bring the youth through, don't get me wrong, because that's the right thing to do, but we shouldn't be relying on the youth. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think Freddie's doing great at Pompey. He really is. And I'm pleased for him because he's doing what others should be doing, having loans. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, the opposite of that, though, James, when you look at his Earthy, he's kind of he's struggling a little bit at City, isn't he? You know, he's not exactly. He started off all right, but he's struggling to even get in the first, actually off the bench and go on the pitch. So there's the opposite to it.
Yeah.
Well, we've not been good at getting loans for our youngsters either. That's another thing we've been really bad. Not only are we bad at selling now. Well, if we can't get a successful loan, how do we expect to be able to attract fees for these players? So it all goes hand in hand, right? Start getting this right.
I'd like to see the return of reserve team football. That's what I'd like to see. Where players that aren't getting regular,
I'll be back in a minute.
Starting 11 places can play, alongside some of the youth players and whatever.
Well, I've just seen something come through on my phone. They're saying that we should kind of go in for Chelsea's Chukwuemeka, what his name is.
Chukwuemeka.
Yeah, so when you look at it, apparently Everton's also interested in the player. But Chelsea has slapped a £40 million price tag on him. So doubled the price on him. Mm-hmm. But for Everton to kind of get the player, what they'll have to do first of all, they'd have to kind of terminate the loan for Brozier, who's injured with them. And then the opposite side of that is Chelsea want a compensation package because basically they've injured the player. So they're saying that, we should jump in and nick the player on loan.
What, Chukwuemeka?
Mm.
I'd be all right with him coming in. I really would. I'm not sure 40 million would be a price tag I'd put on him at this moment.
Think so.
I think 30 would be a stretch of my money if I'm honest. But around sort of 24, 26 million, he'd be a player well worth looking at.
Yeah,
I rate him. I think he's a good player.
He's just
not getting in the Chelsea starting 11 because there are other players ahead of him.
True. I mean, big up to Views on Sport, as he says here. Sounds like the old argument. Football has changed. You can't stop it. And I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it? Because old man's asked to come in with this. Is the Premier League club one away from foreign ownership that can change the league rules?
One club. Oh,
Because basically, if you look at it, most Premier League clubs now are owned by a foreign party.
yeah.
So, does that mean that they're going to have some kind of power to say that?
I don't know if they would actually. I mean, that would be like saying, would the European nations have more power over FIFA than perhaps any other nation? Because European nations, there are more of them that are sort of FIFA quality teams, So I don't know. I don't know how that would work, but I think the FA would probably have UEFA backing, and I think they would dig their heels right in and stop any of that. The FA don't like anybody questioning their authority, decision making, or anything else. I don't think that would work, but I don't know what the legality of it would be. I really don't.
Yeah, I think that'd be a long-winded process, though. Seeing that, I don't think that'd be a quick one overnight job. James Lamprey is saying here, we need to get into the 21st century, or we're raw. Progressive owners and marketing the club is the way to go. I get that, because if you look at modern day society, it's all about putting it out there. And unfortunately, I know, as we've already alluded to, in that once they put that bloody London on the bottom of the badge,
just going back to what I was just saying though, Tone, about the legality of a group of foreign owners saying, right, we want to change the rules. I think that's already been covered actually by the FA in the monopolies law. No one person can have a say for more than one club. So it doesn't matter how many foreign owners they are; they're only a voice for one club.
Yeah, interesting.
So I don't think I think the monopolies ruling would probably cover that. I'm fairly sure it would. I'm fairly sure.
Same I have to look into. That'd be quite an interesting comment, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, I missed it.
With the influx of foreign owners, is the Premier League like one foreign owner away from perhaps them all clubbing together and saying, let's change the rules of the game?
I don't know about the rules of the game, but there is concern, isn't there, about the American ownership. And I think, they have a vote, don't they, on things that all clubs have to agree to. Say, for example, they wanted to play this fixture in America. If they got enough American owners, I think 14 or more than 14 have to vote out of the 20. So if they got a majority for that might be open to legal challenges on one thing or another. I'm sure it would be, but hypothetically, at least, more than 14 clubs vote for whatever proposal, they could force it through.
Right.
Whether they could change the offside law because 14 owners voted for it, I'm not quite sure. But that's for the Premier League, right? It doesn't apply for it because the FA are in charge of the Championship down the pyramid, aren't they? Premier League are like an entity of their own, aren't they?
Yeah.
I might be talking at cross purposes to what you're talking about. So,
you're alluding to the same thing, Jeff. To be honest, yeah. I mean, Colin's saying, Jeff, mate, my mate who works in the city also works in finance and stocks and shares, and he's actually telling me that it may be a prelude to a takeover if it's talk they're hearing. I'm just giving what I hear, and that's an interesting comment to see.
Fair play, Colin, and if he knows somebody or someone knows something, I'm sure they're more informed than me. Or what I will say to that is, though, wouldn't be the first time that we've heard whispers from the city that there were, you said it, Saudi buyers, this buyer, that buyer, and so far there hasn't been any. So we'll see how it develops.
Yeah. As Mama Flossie saying there, 11 you haven't hit the likes, come on there. And don't forget the gentleman that's on the panel, don't forget their channels as well, please. JB saying, should we have a fans club like FC United? Start up as Ham of the West FC. Get 30,000 proper fans, pay 250 into the club a season, plus ticket and food sales, we'll be flying. You imagine if that happened. God, blimey.
Do Wimbledon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it could be done, but it's not going to turn into West Ham United, is it? West Ham United's West Ham United, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. But I suppose it's the only way, I suppose, making the owners sit up and think that if it suddenly had a bit of meat behind the bones, how would they feel about it? You know,
what it would do, it'd take like a real core. If they
element.
yeah, if they were that committed to literally do something like that, it'd be a huge core element that would support it, I expect, and they'd lose like that. And then we'd be a step closer to what we've been talking about all evening, with just football fans rather than West Ham fans, and opposing fans sitting around in their colours all over the stadium, franchise football, as you call it. Yeah, it's just another step towards that if that happens, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, Blowy, look at this. Look at what Views is saying. Bezos has too much money to be like the other US owners. He spent $1 billion on a TV show. And that's probably changed for him as well, that is. And don't forget, he split half of his money when he got divorced as well.
Yeah, it was Mrs.
Yeah, Jesus.
And he's still the richest man in bloody entertainment.
Yeah, look, see this one day money football is shit, isn't it? Yeah, that's true, Johnny.
Thing is, though, all the money, it's great if he's got all the money, but you look at Newcastle, they've got like a state behind them, right? They got more money than anyone, but it doesn't give them the freedom to just spend it all, does it? They've got
it doesn't.
restrictions.
But look, when you consider it, right, St James's Park is probably one of the oldest stadiums in the country now. First thing they should do is to rebuild the bloody stadium, make it a bit more user-friendly. I don't know if you've ever been to St James's Park. In the away end, honestly, you feel like you need a fucking harness and a rescue helicopter and a St Bernard up there, mate. I'm telling you, you're in the gods. It's horrible. And it's not a very nice experience. It's a great experience, but it's not a pleasant one, if you know what I mean. Like, it's really difficult to get up to the seating. And like with the state behind you, you would think what they would go, hang on a minute, let's build a state-of-the-art stadium. Let's make Everton Stadium. Let's make Tottenham Stadium look like, specks of dust on our windscreen. They've got the money to do it. It's disposable income for them. Disposable money for them. They can claim most of that back, probably.
Of course they can. But I think if you look at what I like, because everyone thought, richest club on the planet now. When you look at the wealth of what they've got compared to all the other clubs, they're not gone on and said, "Well, we're going to do this, going to splash cash, we're going to build a new stadium." They've done it the right way. They're playing ball because at the end of the day, I think if you look at it, being at their estate and obviously the background of that state, they've actually handled it professionally in that respect. They've done it with etiquette, and more importantly, they've engaged with the fans.
Yeah,
and you can't ask any more than that because they're your bread and butter. They're the ones that put bums on the seats and stuff like that.
And if you ask a Newcastle fan what they thought of Mike Ashley,
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Ashley's no different to Sullivan, really, on minerals. So, yeah.
Rangers goalkeeper's just punched one in his own net.
Sign him up, Jeff. Sign him.
every cloud, isn't there?
Yeah.
Him and Roberto as our next pairing.
Oh man.
Right. So,
yeah, look, old man saying the thing. Yeah, look, as Jeff said, 14 to cover majority. I'm obviously catching myself up on the chat here. Yeah, we are, Ludo. We're going to go on there. Yes, we're going to move on to the great man himself, goalie and bald man, and that. Not to change football rules, league rules like relegation or PSR. Well, that's the PSR one is obviously one that would be lovely to be changed, but never mind. You know, it's another thing. Good evening, GP as well. Thank you very much for the super chat. Best effing channel, West Ham United channel. Sodhammer's chat. And Brendan's saying Ludo's a great keeper, a legend, even got a tasty red card. Is currently saying cancer, you can fuck off, basically. And that's
exactly right.
Exactly that, mate. And with that, we're just going to play this little video, which obviously where Budgie will start talking about Green Street Elites. And this one's dedicated to the great man himself, Ludo Miklosko.
There you go.
What a player.
What a player.
What a man. Yeah, well, the final little song was courtesy of the ever faithful fans at the Carpenters Arms. So thank you, everybody that participated in that little recording there. As it stated in that little video there, he did receive a red card, and because of the substitution rules at the time, there were no goalkeepers on the sub bench. So that was the time that Julian Dix stepped up and wore the green shirt. So yeah, Ludo often refers to that story when he recounts his time at, playing football. I've seen a couple of interviews he's done. But 6'5", huge mountain of a man. I mean, Russ used to say he used to watch him on a Friday. He used to go and do his shop in Morrison's or wherever, Lidl. Oh, not Lidl's, but wherever it was, Safeway or whatever. He said, you always knew where Ludo was because his head was above all the racks, all the shelves. And you just see Ludo's head going past the shelves, But, wonderful man, wonderful goalkeeper, 318 appearances. I mean, that's no mean feat. What do you remember about him, Jeff?
Mate, I've got a very fond memory of Ludo, which probably might not be what everyone would expect But I remember going to the FA Cup against Aldershot. We drew the first game 0-0. Dreadful game. We went to the replay, also at Upton Park, because it was one of those fixtures where Aldershot were drawn at home, but swapped the fixture to Upton Park for the first game.
Right.
And that finished 0-0. And then in the replay, we beat them 6-1. And the goal that they scored, I think the midfielder hit a shot from outside the box. It came comfortably at Ludo like that, and he put his hands up like that, and the ball slipped through his hands and into the back of his neck as he was looking over his shoulder. And he performed some wonderful saves and some great interactions with the crowd. But I was right behind him on that day, and it's just one of the memories that's just stuck with me all of these years. So it still makes me smile today just thinking about it. So everyone should look it up. If there's a clip somewhere, they should look it up. It's
brilliant memory.
And he was allowed a mistake like that. The man was an absolute god for West Ham.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I remember when he first came in. I mean, if you think about it, it was probably Lou McCarthy's probably best signing. For the short-lived term that he had with us. And we played Millwall, and this is when Teddy Sheringham was playing for Millwall at the time. And I think we was 3-1 up, and they kept the crowd shouting out, Ludo, what's the score? And of course, he was trying to learn English at this point, and also you see him look around, and then he sticks up them 3 fingers, and of course, a legend in the making there and then. But the other game I remember, and I can't remember what year it was. It was the opening game of the season, I believe, and we played Wimbledon. The ball gets pumped long, and Ludo's coming out for the ball, and John Fashanu jumped up the air with Ludo, but Fashanu in his arms like this, and literally caught Ludo in the neck, sparked him out for a little while, and he still got up, and we still won it anyway. But that's what I remember of the man. I actually spoke to him at West Ham. I mean, when I was working behind the scenes at Chowder Leaf and at Upton Park, and this is when he first came in and that. And I think he got one hammer of the season. Also, well done on that. He just looked over and he just went, And it's like, okay, that's fair enough. He doesn't know much more, but well done, mate.
Yeah, and
always tried to get Ludo involved, didn't they? Always. Always tried to get him involved. He was brilliant.
One of the things that I want to say is that, as it's stated on that video, that he's opted out of any further cancer treatment this year. A decision I support, because he wants to enjoy life, not endure it. And I think that's a really important statement. That he's decided that the treatment takes away the quality of life, and he's chosen to have a quality of life for however long he can. And, I fully support that. And, like I said, in that video, we say that this show is dedicated to people that are fighting cancer. Want everybody out there that is fighting cancer to know you're not alone.
Absolutely.
There are people out there that are willing and able to help. You've only got to reach out.
There's always support in there, mate. There's always support. As you know that.
Everywhere. I've been fortunate to survive prostate cancer. So I remember when you announced it on the show, Budge, and everyone in the chat, everyone on the panel, and that could be more happier for you. And Jeff, I'm grateful to him because, on the day that I received my final treatment and everything else, I knew that the very next day I was travelling down to stay with Jeff and his good wife for a week, and I had a really good, relaxing, basically convalescence while I was down there. It was fantastic. So, there are people out there that are willing to help. And Jeff and I had only ever actually met in person twice up to that point.
When you finish the show, Budgie, give me his address now. Convalescent home it sounds good.
We'll do a nice little video for it.
Give me good reviews.
Yeah.
So anybody out there that is, or even concerned about it, now's the time to get yourself checked. Especially men. Get yourself checked.
Don't be afraid to, as you said. Yeah,
No.
absolutely. No, GP, it was actually Lou McCoy. Yes, probably about the best thing we got out of him.
Harry just got the best out of him.
Yeah. I'm Sunday in it. Yes, I probably will be doing a watch along for that one, Daz. Yes. Howard saying behind the scenes, Tone massage. Well, yeah. For those that don't know, and that yes, I did actually work as a physio for the under-15s at West Ham. So yes, young Frank, Rio, etc. Them players, yeah, that I actually kind of treated them as youngsters.
Their fingers a little bit and said,
"Yeah, it's in there." I mean, not being funny, Frank Junior getting glandular fever was probably the best thing for him because it knocked that puppy fat off of him.
Yeah,
in no time, that's for sure. Ian, I was saying, love Ludo. My first memory of him as a kid was that he could throw the ball. Yes, I remember this as well. Behind the halfway line, further than most other keepers were kicking it. Absolutely, yeah. His throws was immense.
His hands were like JCB shovels, though.
Cool. I mean, but that's Ian's just kind of highlighted. Brought a memory back because I think everyone when we first saw him and he just launched that ball and it's like, huh? It's like.
It was like he fucking threw that. First couple of times you see it, you were so shocked by it, weren't you?
It's true.
Fucking hell, see how far he threw that.
Yeah. Michael Chelsea, look at that. I remember driving Fashionable and Gladiators. That's it. Bloody hell, man. Terence is saying, I remember being interviewed after an FA Cup game by a Scot, and he turned around and said, "Is this in English?" Nearly peed myself. Good evening, Ray. God bless everyone. God bless yourself as well,
Good
mate.
evening, Ray.
Antonio would have been good on Gladiators. Yes, definitely.
It'd have
Yeah,
been
look,
good.
yeah. Johnny Zane as well. All over to Jeff's house. That's the one.
Yeah,
We'll go there to convalesce. Michael Chill saying, sorry to hear about this, guys. Cancer really does affect all of us. If it's someone within your family or you've been through it, this yourself, absolutely 100% on that one.
That's right, Michael.
GP saying, Hammer's friends check. Where we check each other's could be an idea. I'm up to check Russ's. Old man saying, I had a prostate check and said to the doctor, you could have taken your ring off. He said, ring? It's my watch. Colin saying about Ludo, big Ludo, great man, and one of two world-class goalkeepers this club has had, and wish him all the best. Ludo, God bless you. Yeah, absolutely. And
I'd be interested to see who Colin thinks the other world-class goalkeeper was. Everyone's probably got their own idea.
Roberto.
We're saying Ludo was one.
Yeah, Roberto,
who would you say was the other one?
For me, I personally, I would have to go with Adrian. I think he was world class.
He was a good kid. I mean, I'm going a little bit beyond that one. I mean, obviously, I love, I thought Phil Parks was a great Phil keeper.
Parks, yeah.
And
Me too.
I remember when he came back and we stuck him back in goal on that. I mean, that poor old fella.
And he was a record fee for a goalkeeper at the time.
He was at the time, wasn't he, Jeff? That's right.
Yeah.
He was.
500,000, wasn't it? Something. $500,000, was it? Or $1 million?
No, it wasn't $1 million, I don't think.
No, it's a bit. I think it was 750 or 500 or 750.
Like
and that kind of.
It don't matter. He was the most expensive goalkeeper at the time. We paid a record fee for a goalkeeper, right? In Phil Parks, he was brilliant. So anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Tony.
No, that's fine. No, because I mean, again, it's someone a player like that. You've got to remember him. But I remember we brought him back and stuck him in goal. His knees were gone. He had to have at least 6 cortisone injections in both knees, in each, so he could move, the poor sod. I'd hate to think what he's like now,
And we also had Mervyn Day. I mean, what a goalkeeper he
Oh,
was.
yeah.
He was our youngest league goalkeeper ever, wasn't he? Or still
Which is basically when Collins said that in the comments. I was like, God, I'd be really interested to see what his second goalkeeper is, because if you start thinking about it, right, we've had some
Bobby
really
Ferguson.
fantastic goalkeepers over the years, right?
We have, yeah.
Going back even further, we had Bobby Ferguson.
That's too far for me, Budgie. I don't remember that.
FA Cup winner, you know.
Ian say, look, yeah, Tony, I remember him telling the fans a score too. He used to love doing that. Ludo, what's the score? Fantastic character. Yeah, definitely. Brendan saying Julian Dixon, second best goalkeeper. Antonio as well. Don't forget that one. Like Bobby Ferguson, usual saying. Ian saying Phil Parks. Old man saying Phil Parks. Yeah, Terence is saying the same thing. Bywater, the usual saying as well.
Yeah. Stephen Bywater.
Johnny, he's saying Parksy. Big up to a good old friend.
No one said Alan McKnight.
Oh no, they have. Yeah, and we're coming to that one. There is one. But just say hello to Uncle Rods as well. Big up to Uncle. Good to see you, mate.
Good evening, Uncle Rods.
Budgie is King Ray saying there. Mervyn Day, from James Lamprey. Good evening, Hammer Time. Alec McNightmare, yeah. There you go. Look, 565,000. Thank you very much, Colin. The usual putting that in. Thank you very much, mate. Here he is, the Falls Aussie. Kieran, good evening, mate. Good day to you, chaps. Birds are chirping. I hope you're doing well, Kieran. Good day, Cobber. Ted Houghton, GP saying.
That's going back even.
That's beyond me.
Yeah.
I was at a 1-1 meeting with Eddie Chapman. He's saying there. Brendan Mummer. Jeff, Phil Parks, the other one. There you go. It was
okay. Fair comment. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue with that. That would have been my choice. But we have had some super keepers though.
Didn't Shilton play for us for a few games at one time? Past his prime, of course.
No. I can check that. 1 second. Oh, hang on.
I remember us singing to him. I think he was playing for Southampton at the time. It was around the time when he'd been caught out playing away from home, and we were all singing to him, "Does your wife know that you're here?" and all that, giving him fucking loads.
Usual saying Bobby Ferguson was a world record at the time as well, 65,000.
Here we go.
Look it up, Budgie. What can you find?
West Ham United, 1996. Played 0 games.
That must have been Harry then, was it?
1996.
Fucking, I know what I'll do. I'll get Pete Stewart. That sounds like Harry.
He played no games, and then we let him go to Leighton Orient, where he played 9 games. And in his career, Peter Shilton played 1,005 games, scoring 1 goal.
He was a great keeper in his time.
He booted it out. He had the ball in his hands. He booted it out. It bounced over. Who was the Man United goalkeeper?
Gary Bailey, probably.
No, it was the one before him. Can't remember his name now. Can't remember.
Not the Scottish
Stepney.
one.
Alex Stepney.
Alex Stepney, a lot, right?
Yeah, Stepney was getting on at that point. I think he was only really sort of like their standing keeper. But I think, if I remember rightly, Schultz booted the ball. It bounced over the top of. It bounced in the middle of midfield, bounced over the top of Stepney's head and went into the back of the net.
Wow. Old man's also saying best game. Oh, Mama just put one in there as well. Best game was David Martin and Alvin's emotion in commentary. Yeah.
That was a brilliant moment for David Martin.
I watched that actually. It was on a YouTube short earlier on. I was watching.
JB's put, I love Robert Green, to be fair. Ludo up there with Shaka Hislop. Yeah, and Mama saying Shaka was a great keeper. Yeah. JB, good night to yourself as well, mate. Be safe yourself.
Good night, JB.
Yeah, Shaka Hislop, he is a great keeper and all.
And you know, the other thing about Ludo was that you know, quite often, you know, I have family that live in, you know, the East End, even though I don't. And quite often, you know, when I was up with my family and stuff, or going to games or whatever, you read the Newham Recorder or whatever the case may be, and like you see pictures of, you know, West Ham players at the local children's ward and stuff. Ludo was always there while he was at the club. He was always one of the guys that went to the hospitals and spent his time with the kids and stuff. You know, he spent some time with the younger goalkeepers in the academy, I'm led to believe. You know, that was another thing about him. He was very, I suppose, magnanimous would be the word used for him.
Yeah, I think you could also put humble in there as well. I think he was a very humble man.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, magnanimous also would indicate that he was humble anyway, you know. But, you know, he was like, he was such, and still is such a nice guy. You know, I mean, when he came to the stadium a couple of weeks back, you know, I mean, I wasn't there, but I saw the footage, and you know, he got a beautiful reception. You know, from the faithful.
Yeah.
You know,
he gets a reception every week, whether he's there or whether he's not.
Cool,
let's be honest.
That's the thing. Yeah, just got to say his name,
especially when he's in the carpet. Well, when we're in the Carpenters, anyway.
He has got legendary status. I mean, this thing about him, you know,
without doubt. Yeah.
If
it's not every week, it's almost every week he gets the tribute paid. Like, it's just one of those. He's a West Ham legend.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
He's standing around, but he really is, you know?
Yeah, no, that is true because, like, as you say, you know, there's two songs that are regular in no matter what pub you go to around Stratford. There's two songs that are like really popular, and one of them's obviously Bowens on Fire, and the other one is Ludo Miklosko. And they are the two songs that you hear regularly every single home game, like in the pubs and around the streets, and it's ridiculous. You know, you can walk through past this little shop just around the corner from the Carpenter's Arms, and there's loads of people sitting around this like open like patio bit, and you know, you quite often hear a couple of lads over there singing Bowens on Fire or whatever. It's quite funny.
Yeah. Colin said, don't forget we could have had the greatest goalkeeper, Banks, but we made the promise at the time of taking Bobby Ferguson. Kept to our word back in them days, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Terence
was actually the greatest keeper in the world at the time.
That's true. God, don't say Shilton scored a goal. We're that desperate for a strike. We're putting a bid. It's over Jimmy Savile, magnanimous, Ian saying, only bad thing about Shaka was that he let the Gerrard long shot in. Don't blame him for it, but I've never got over it. Yeah, I mean,
Sickener.
Mama's saying, obviously, Shaka was also loved that, but at Newcastle as well.
Yeah.
Good evening to Gary J. Yeah,
evening, Gary. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Good to see you,
Gary.
And obviously another partner in crime, Mr. Herbert Anthony. Big up, lads. Question: if I had to tell Tony his first X1, his first 11 West Ham team, he was calling naming them out on last night's show, but I told him they played in the '84 season. But big up, Tony. Laugh out loud. Thank you, Mr. Herbert. Very kind of you. He'll still watch some TV somewhere, they're saying.
ESPN.
Yeah, I think he was saying about who's the player that still works on TV, basically.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Howard saying, as always, even Anthony, I thought I saw a blind alpaca. Title Vauxhall Chevette in the car park. He said it on your channel last night as well, Budgie, about Andy when he came in. I've seen Shaq on ESPN giving Frank LeBoeuf is a regular, of course. Yes, Shaq does do a lot of TV for sports. Yeah, good to see him in that. So, okay, Good old man. What about David James?
Actually, do you know what? I actually have got a bit of a fanboy thing for David James because I love a keeper that takes no shit, and he never did. I mean, I've seen him chasing people down the tunnel because they've come into him 2-footed and shit. You know, he's not one to be trifled with, Mr. James. I'm telling you. But as far as his goalkeeping prowess is concerned, I'd probably give him about a 7 out of 10, really, to be fair, while he was at West Ham. He pulled off a few cracking saves, but also let in a few needless goals as well.
Yeah, so. he was a bit suspect on corners, wasn't he? That's for sure.
Yeah. I think kind of a lot of people might compare Areola to him. That he can be very, very good in shot stopping, etc., etc. But there are limits to what he can and will do. You know,
true. Ray Sanoshi continuing. Eddie Chapman had to go to an economics project for school. This was the week leading up to the 81 Pride was classic. Gary J said, "I love a tough bastard. Something missing in today's game. Yeah, too much of the cotton wool treatment going on there, Gary, isn't it? You know, yeah, too soft-centered. A lot of these players now.
Yeah, there's only a few. Well, we mentioned this last night on Old School Hammers. There's only a few of them left. I mean, at one time you used to have half a dozen in a team.
In each team, in each team at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But now you're lucky if you got half a dozen in the league. You know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Not too soft.
Yeah.
Jeff, as your time on the first time on the West Ham review.
Yes, mate.
It's your choice for next week's Green Street Elites.
Oh, right. Wow. Okay. And what's the remit is sort of not.
I'll tell you what it is. It's basically
like
a player a player that you admired during the Upton Park era. A player that you liked that doesn't necessarily get that many mentions.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got one. And that I've been thinking about for this. And funnily enough, as it turns out on the subject, and when you were talking about illness and one thing and another earlier, kind of ties into that a little bit as well. And I think he was perhaps, I don't know if he was an unsung hero, but he's probably not recognised for what he did for West Ham while he was here as much as some. Goal scorer. And that's Johnny Hartson.
Absolutely. Johnny Hartson is, mate. Great
that would
choice.
be my choice for sort of what might be classed as a bit of an unsung hero from the Upton Park days. So
I
think it was pretty decent for West Ham.
You know, I mean, listen, we all loved and admired Johnny Hartson while he played at West Ham. But you're right, he don't get enough mentions. You know, like you'll find Dean Ashton getting more mentions than him, and he played less games than he did. He got injured and finished his career, and I think that's why he gets more of the limelight. Yeah, I like that. That's good.
It's a good choice.
Johnny Hartson.
Old man says there are goalies that are brilliant as long as they don't have to think. When they think, they're fucked. Kieran's saying, Banks, that fucker saved the Jeff Hurst penalty and stopped us getting to the final.
Yeah, he did.
True.
He did.
Colin's saying, guys, can you name the nephew of a former Southampton England assistant manager who was on our books and scored lots of goals in the academy, who could have made it but was offered a magnificent job?
No, not a fan, but I'm not much good at all them riddle type things.
No, I can't.
Southampton England assistant manager. Who would have been assistant manager? And as at Southampton.
When he said Southampton, I just thought Mick Shannon, that was it.
Yeah. Mick Shannon.
If it's not Mick Shannon or Matt Letitia, they're finished.
Yeah, that's my choice. Bang, move on.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Howard saying Rangers had only one jock playing tonight. Tonight says it all. Jesus. Yeah. Look, Ray's saying Eddie Chapman was a West Ham god. Another one. Yeah. Des saying, have you met Martin Allen, Mad Dog? I haven't, in the fish and chip shop down my road. Wow.
Well, funny
a great
you should
character.
mention that. I bumped into him in a petrol station once in, I can't remember where it was now, Silvertown, I think. Yeah. When I was in Silvertown one time.
Wow. Raw Fox. Can it be Raw Fox?
Don't know.
Colin have to give us the who that person
Will
is.
Fox,
'cause
he was at Norwich, wasn't he?
I think he was at one point, wasn't he?
Don't know.
Did he come through Southampton? And
Colin will give us the answer and we'll all go,
Might be.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ian saying, often put myself in the shoes of a player. I'd like to have been one. Reality is very few win anything in a career. But if I didn't win anything, I'd settle for have my own song sung by the fans forever. Yeah, that's a great shout. It is a great shout.
Yes, indeed.
Michael Chill saying, yeah, John Hartson, very true. I think a lot of people would have forgotten he actually played for West Ham. That's very true, mate. Come on, Colin. Yeah, let us know. And Raw Fox, yeah, he also played for Newcastle, didn't he?
He did.
He's a generational hero, isn't he, Ludo? And you look through, and then you've got like he's sort of revered in the same way, I think, as people like Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking, who are like institutions of the football club. But I think Ludo is like that in his own right.
Yeah.
But that's just my personal opinion. Others might not put him up alongside those people, but I kind of do.
Yeah, but you're right about it being a generational thing, though. Because, like, these millennials or whatever you call them.
No, yeah, well, they were generational legends, weren't they? And I just think Ludo falls into that, like.
Colin said it was Laurie McNenemy, Paul McNenemy, the nephew.
Oh right, Laurie McMenemy's. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. No, I wouldn't have got all that answer, but when I said Mick Shannon and Matt Letizia, I should have said Laurie McMenemy as well, because that's about the only three sort of like top famous things out of Southampton from the era, I would say.
Yeah.
Garjar.
Yeah, I know this next comment, Tone, from Tara. Yeah. I'll never forget Artson. Mate, he was a tough bastard.
He took his fucking head off his shoulders, didn't
he? Yeah. GP say millennials think every player has to be Messi or they're crap. True, that is very true. And Ray's edit, Malcolm Allison was without doubt the reason that we have the West Ham way.
I reckon we could do with Johnny Hartson in our team right now.
Cool, yeah, and then some.
I mean, for me, the one where we never really got to, we got a taster of it, but we never saw. And I think he would have been a West Ham legend, and that is Dean Ashton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just robbed, wasn't he?
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Ashley Cole.
But imagine having a prime Andy Carroll back.
We never used Carroll properly, in my opinion. I don't think we got the
Some
best
of the goals he scores, they still get on, Premier League and Sky Sports and all that.
I know, but you show real stuff, innit? But week in, week out, we didn't use Andy Cole properly, in my opinion. We just went, fucking hoof out there, fucking win that. Yeah, and then no one's around. That's what we did most of the time for Andy Carroll. And then he scored it. So I'm not knocking Andy Carroll. I'm just think we misused him.
Yeah, the hoofball.
I don't think we got the best out of him. Look at Newcastle.
He could actually play at his feet, Jeff, couldn't he? That's the thing. He could actually play at his feet.
Yeah, you look at Newcastle. What did they do? They played football. They got it down the sides, and then they whipped the ball into Andy Carroll, and no one could stop him. What did we do? We knocked it up from our own fucking centre halves and went compete for that. It's
Deal with that.
completely different. Yeah, it's just. I'm sort of ranting a bit about that, but just infuriated me about the way.
I love it when you rant, Jeff.
Not being funny, Jeff. When you think about the two recent ones.
Oh my God! Rangers have just scored.
Good. Oh, so did I say good? Did I? That slipped out.
Who are they playing?
He will not be happy with you.
Oh, not at all. He'll be doing the thing afterwards, mate. I think the other two recently that we wasted were Haller and Skamaka.
Yeah, both good footballers, strikers. We didn't use them properly. Maybe both a little bit lazy, dare I say?
No, I wouldn't go with that, mate. Not at all.
Well,
they went on to other clubs and they started banging in goals for fun. And then you've got to think
we asked them to play the role that they played again, right?
No, Moyes, it was Moyes, man.
In the role that they were asked to play, right?
Yeah, which is
again.
Yeah, and it's one of those, isn't it? I mean, surely.
And Haller didn't want to do what Antonio does, right? And that's what he was asked to do, right?
He's not that player. He's not that player, and this is
where
you've seen.
That's a great goal.
You've seen many people wasted because the manager plays them in the wrong position or doesn't adapt the style for the player itself. I mean,
fucking, we should sign that fella. That fucking Dessers. Fucking what a goal that is. Fuck me. Sorry, swearing and all that. Oh.
How far out was it the goal?
He's took the ball's come down. He's come over the top of Harry Maguire. He's took it down on his left foot, swiveled just outside the box, and drilled it into the bottom corner. It's absolute screamer of a goal. Lovely touch.
Oh, well, it's Rangers Man United, is it?
Yes, yeah. 1-1.
Well, it's an Harry Maguire mistake that caused the goal.
Yeah, well, Rangers scored twice.
I'm not sure. I wasn't really watching. I don't know if it's really a mistake. The ball's come over him, whether he's made a mistake there or not. But the bit of skill is like brilliant.
That's what it takes, isn't it? Yeah, Howard. Fucking England duties robbed us of Dean Ashton yet. Totally agree on Ashton. Such a shame. Was on his way to being a club legend. Totally agree on that, Ian. Gary saying, gents, who's your favourite hammer of all time? Besides Bobby Moore, of course. Ooh.
Okay, so we've got to exclude Bobby Moore from our list, from our choice, yeah?
Yeah.
Sorry, what was the question?
Who is your favourite hammer of all time?
Excluding Bobby Moore, who's your favourite hammer of all time?
Yeah, okay. I've got a couple from sort of going to be from my childhood, really, I suppose. It's when your legends are made in your own mind, I guess. There's plenty that have come since my childhood that could achieve legendary status and will do for others. But yeah, I've got one or two that I could probably pick out. So yeah, leave me to mull that over and I'll give you a choice on one.
I mean, there is a few, isn't there, really, that it's...
Yeah.
And I suppose
I think for me...
Go on, Buzz, you go first.
I think for me, it's got to be the man that I believe epitomised what the number 10 should mean in the English game. Okay, I'm not talking about your Brazilian game where they do this, that, and the other. I'm talking about the Brazilian, the English game. The number 10, obviously, Trevor Brooking. For me, he wrote the book on how to play the number 10 position in the British game. For me.
That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I mean, I'm going to go to the 80s kind of style things and Billy Bonds.
Looks like United have just won it.
Yeah. Fernandez.
Jeez.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Billy Bonds.
Good shout.
Right, well, I'm a bit disappointed with the pair here, and I wish I'd just fucking chose one of them now, because basically that's sort of my era, and it was, for me, a toss-up between Billy Bonds and Trevor Brooking. But I mean, there's so many. So, people could say Payet, people might say Paolo Di Canio, another one, fantastic footballer. I might even have to choose him now, just not to pick someone different to you, but from the same era. And I'm going to actually, because he for me is another club legend and legend of my childhood. Alvin Martin, I'm going to pick.
Yeah, another good one as well.
I was going to pick Brooking or Bonds, but you did that. So there we are. Alvin Martin.
Nice.
So at least we've got
Nice one.
three different ones.
Yeah.
And 3 actual good shouts for, legends of the club. All 3 of them. I mean, look, Alvin Martin was, he was the first real sort of like Scouse Cockney, wasn't he? To be fair.
Yeah.
He was the first of them. We've
And
had
not
a couple
being-
since, but
If you move a few years further, Ginge.
Sure.
He falls into that status as well, basically. Yeah.
yeah.
Colin's saying, yeah, Dixie definitely. There's no two ways about
We
it.
spoke about him earlier. We've got the Martin Allens.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Gailey was a good one as well. He was
Tony Gale, yeah.
Yeah, he was a good one as well.
Devonshire.
Cotties and your McAvenis, haven't you? Yeah, your Devonshire's. There's lots and lots of them. It's very hard when you're put on the spot to sort of like pick out. And there'll always be someone else.
Of course,
Martin Peters was always my favourite player.
Yeah.
I'm a bit too young for that.
Yeah.
Reggie.
And the reason I didn't pick him.
Jeff drops Mike, walks off. Done. Colin's got here. Would have liked Ashton, Hartson, Small. Any of them up top now? Of course, Small. Remember him, Mike? Oh, Mike Small. Yeah. Usually saying Cal spent most of the time in East End pubs than he ever did on the pitch for West Ham.
Hang on, I bear with. Yeah, come in, son.
Paolo Di Canio, yeah, great, another one. Yeah, look, GB, that's the honest truth. He was proper pissed most of the time as well. Yeah, well, because when it was Nolan had to look after him, didn't he?
And we're talking about legend, and he's going to be a legend. Like he is a club legend, right? But he's going to be one of these players that we revere, a generation reveres, right? In years to come. Noble, we didn't even mention him, right? But it's because we're comparing him to,
of course,
Brookings and Bonds of this world, right?
Yeah.
Hang on. The question was, who was your favourite Hammer? Yeah, that was the question. Not, who most epitomised West Ham way or whatever else. So for me, I suppose my favourite. I would have to change it now to Martin Peters because he was my favourite player of his time at West Ham. And even when he went to Tottenham, I used to still watch him because I thought he was that good.
Yeah, Colin's just saying we've been linked with a Scottish striker, Cummins, 18-year-old.
Oh, yeah. He's Celtic lad, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's all right.
James Lamprey, Trevin Brooking, what a legend. Gary's saying for him, he'd say Julian Dix. Because it's more my era. Nobes, Nobes is a good shout as always.
Yeah.
Brooking. Yeah, actually, exactly that Arsenal manic. Rangers couldn't hold up for 2 minutes. Old man saying, Julian Dix as well. Didn't know about that. Just remember fans giving him venom for going ice skating. Yeah, there's that. He burnt his Range Rover, didn't he, outside his gaff one time? And Nolan, because he was on a bad path at that stage. Had more shots on target, similar corners, same level as Manchester, Piccadilly. Bloody hell. Yeah, 2-1 Saturday. Yeah, the Ginger Pele. Yeah, the Ginger Pele.
We've had so many great servants at our football club. Not everyone who comes through the door is, but we start, looking back and coming out with when we're talking about things like this, and then you look at the chat, people put names in there or the people that you've overlooked, and you just think, they were great. We've had some really, really good servants at this football club.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I suppose if the question had been, who's the greatest Hammer of all time, I'd have to say Tony Carr. Look at the work that man's done for this club. He built that academy.
Yeah, he did. Aged him as well, though, Budge. I remember when he first came, he had jet black hair.
Yeah.
A year later, and it was grey.
I'm not surprised.
He was grey. Ian's saying here, what I love about West Ham is that we really take players to our hearts. It doesn't matter where they come from. PDC, Ludo, Repka, etc. They buy into us and are always welcome back.
Yeah, exactly.
Great shout.
Which makes
Thomas
you wonder
Rector.
at some of the treatment of by some of the fan base or the attitude towards our current servants that will probably be looked back on like that in years to come. In Sufo and Suchek, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I guess there might be some people disagree with me, but I mean,
No, I
Suchek's not the
don't think
greatest
any
player, but
do.
every time he crosses the pitch, he'd give everything for you. That's all
Yeah.
Martin Allen used to do, and we fucking
Yeah.
love him.
Yeah,
What
it's
Alvin
true.
Martin used to do.
Well, Alvin
Ian-
Martin was quite a good footballer, though.
Ian Bishops, because what he sweat for the club, quite literally sweat for the club, but he put a shift in. He was a good player and all.
Yeah.
And if you look at the other one, and I mean, he weren't exactly prolific, but I think what he does more than anything else is quite relatable with the fans, and that's got to be Carlton Cole.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, well, Carlton Cole was never the greatest footballer, right? He wasn't even the most, he wasn't prolific goal scorer or anything like that. But you had to love him, right?
Weren't
absolutely,
he
Jeff.
loyal
Yeah,
to the club though?
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, he got released, and what was it? 8 weeks later, they said,
Yeah,
"Imagine you coming back,"
Yeah,
and he was
that's
like,
right.
"Yeah, of course I want to come back, mate. Listen, I have got more time for Carlton Cole and players that do that kind of shit than I have the ones that go, what? How much are you going to pay me?" He didn't care what the fucking money was like.
Yeah,
You
that's
just
right.
reminded me though how much of a joke this club's fucking been for quite how long, really, and we think it's a recent thing.
Yeah,
Oh, mate.
yeah, we've been doing it over the years, haven't we? That's for sure.
Yeah, dear.
As Colin said,
Oh,
I think
we've got
we're all in the
we
same.
got a brand new way of identifying these great players, and here's our first one: Sophie and Faguli. Great choices, lads.
Oh man,
Simeone Zaza. That was
Jesus
another one
Christ, yeah,
in that little listing. That was during the Icelandic days, wasn't it?
cool, yeah, trying to make a name for themselves at that point.
Yeah.
But I think we can all agree on this comment from Colin there. We can all give a whole team of legends and substitutes too many to say.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, that's it.
Yeah,
definitely.
that's probably right.
GP put Ince and Defoe. I mean, Defoe, Ince could have been if he didn't do what he did at the end, and the same with Defoe. I mean,
but taking away what Ince did at the end with the Man United shirt.
Well, Ince was loved, right? It's because
take that away from what happened, right?
It's because of that he's hated, right?
Yeah.
But you take everything that he did in a West Ham shirt.
Yeah.
On the pitch, you take that into consideration and forget how he left. Paul Ince is a cult hero. He gave everything for that shirt. He gave everything to get that ball.
He did while he was here.
Incredible goals for us.
He just left in a shit way.
It was horrible the way he left. Dimitri Payet, we still talk about him with lots of love and affection.
Yeah.
But the way he left was very underhanded. It wasn't, it wasn't good for us as fans.
But the other version of that, the Payet one, and that was obviously Lingard resurrect his career like we did with Payet, and then also you look for bigger pastures kind of thing, and it's what you could have been.
Yeah.
Lingard thinking he can go back to Man United, and that just showed the mentality of the player in certain respects because he should have gone there.
An England call up while he was on loan to us.
But that's what I'm saying, Budge. He got all that, and then he thought he's going to go back to Man United and that walking into the first team, and it's like, no, mate, you've still got to earn your graft.
No, Lingard, mate, you're a West Ham player. You're that quality. You are not Man United's quality.
Exactly that.
That's what they were telling him.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the thing about Lingard? I think it's a real shame, actually, because he came here and he probably had like the best 6 months of his career. He seemed to really fit in and be enjoying his football. And then he had an opportunity to come, and you would think he'd jump at that chance. He knocked it back. He didn't, like you say, stayed at Man United, didn't get his opportunities. Now he's ended up wherever he's ended, and he's went to Forest, and his career, and he's wherever he is now, and his career's like petered out to absolutely nothing. And I just think if he'd have made them different decisions, I think he's really made poor decisions, or he's been advised really poorly. And you just think, look at you, you're flying. You've been at West Ham, you really enjoy it. You love there, you're having a great time. Go there, revive
he
your
would have had
career.
a
And
team
it's a
built around
real
him.
opportunity, right? And he just sort of
He would have had
squandered
a
it.
team built around him.
And he's come to nothing of it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was his. I think it was his brother or something. It was the agent. And when you think he could have come back to us, because we was considered, weren't they? And then of course he went to Forest because they offered more wages, and he went for that rather than. And as you said, Jeff, literally destroyed his career overnight because he never picked up that same form of Forest. And as you said, he
never put in a performance at Nottingham Forest at all. Not a single performance.
There's a couple of questions we've got some of the guys asking and that, and then basically I'm going to put something back on you two as well as the chat. Usual saying, do you know why Peters went to Tottenham?
No.
Yes, I do believe. I think it was because the club wanted to move him on for some. I can't remember what the reason was. Financial, probably.
Okay.
I think I'm not 100% certain, but another question. Like there was another question there. Can we forget the way Ince left the club, or can we forgive the way Ince left the club? You know, did Ince do anything any differently other than holding up a shirt? Did he do anything differently to the way Declan Rice left?
Well, I think if you look at the Declan Rice one, is at least he.
Yeah, he did.
He left with. He left.
Sorry, I'm thinking out loud there.
No, that's good. It's fine, mate. I mean, for me, I think he left with a bit more dignity because obviously there was a lot of pressure for the media trying to get him to answer, and he held his tongue and stuff like that. So I've got to give kind of a little bit of respect for Ince of that. I mean, Jeff probably might have a different kind of opinion on that, but for me, it is a case of he wanted, and look, any player, as I've always said to my players over the years, always look to better yourself. It was a strange choice going to Arsenal because, when he said he wants to go there for silverware, everyone laughed at that point because we know where that was going. You know what I mean?
He might as well have gone to Tottenham.
And this is the thing. But when you look at the thing that Ince, the fact that you're still playing for West Ham and then you're walking around with a Man United shirt, knowing you're going there, that's when you're kind of insulting all the fans at that stage. So there's a bit of a difference between the two things in there. But this is the one I'm going to put to you two, as well as the chat. Frank Lampard Jr.
Yeah.
Now, when you look at the situation when obviously Harry and Frank Sr. both got the bullet, was the player thinking as that's my old man and my uncle, or was he thinking himself as a player when he made the decision that he wanted to move on?
Oh, I can answer that quite quickly, actually. And from what I'm led to believe by different sources, in fact, was that Frank Lampard Jr. was never a West Ham fan. He was always a Chelsea fan and always said that he wanted to play at Chelsea. So when the offer came in, he would go at any point. That's how I saw it. That's how I'm sort of led to believe, anyway, from the sources that I've seen and read and heard, was that he was always a Chelsea fan and always wanted to play in blue, Chelsea blue. So, if that offer had come in for him a year earlier or 2 years later, he would have gone, regardless of where he was. Even if he'd left us and gone to Middlesbrough, for example, the moment Chelsea came calling, he was going to Chelsea. It was inevitable, apparently.
Interesting. What did you make of that, Jeff? What's your answer to it?
Firstly, I'll go back to the Ince thing. from what I don't think I do view
Yeah,
it
Mark.
very differently to you. Actually, I tend to agree with you. I think posing with the shirt in the manner that he left the club makes it very different to kind of what had been mooted, at least in these days of everything getting out of the football club, was almost a gentleman's agreement that, yeah, do you know what, we just stay with it this year and then next year you can go. And it was almost, sort of done and done. Yeah, everyone knew he was moving on, but not the same as Ince appearing
Mhm.
in his Man United shirt while he's a West Ham player for me. So
Even
I
fresh.
agree with you on that, Tony. The
Yeah.
Lampard thing, you have to remember, right, at the time when we talk about Lampard and that now, he wasn't particularly worshipped by the fans at West Ham. Lots of them said he only got in the fucking team because it's his uncles, right? He wasn't good enough and he was fucking fat and this, that, and the other. And I tell you one thing that was missing out of his game when he was at West Ham, which he was fairly criticised for, was we all said he doesn't get enough goals. He should get more goals, right? And he didn't get enough goals at West Ham. I think the way all the family stuff turned out and the wider attitude towards him from the fans, whether the fans want to take any responsibility for it or not, up to them. But it's not like he was worshipped like some kind of God. Please don't go, Frank. Please don't go, Frank.
No,
It was
Yeah.
like, you fat fucker, as he came on. You're not fucking good enough, you fat bastard. That's what was fucking coming out at him, right?
Mm.
And then his uncle and his old man got treated like that, and I think he just went out bollocks. And if he wanted to go and play for Chelsea and that was his goal and all of that, then, well, that was a perfect opportunity for him then, wasn't it?
Yeah.
All right, but I say he wasn't. He turned into like one of the best Premier League era midfielders of the time. But
he holds the record for the most goals by a midfielder.
And there's a big section of West Ham fans who constantly said before he left he wasn't good enough, and for a long time after he left that he wasn't fucking good enough as well. So all I just say, well, we all got our misty glasses on. We do need to be a bit honest with ourselves at times, yeah. And I'm not saying he was hounded out of West Ham because I don't think he was hounded out, but there wasn't a love in there either.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, I know Frank Senior, because obviously I remember being in the car when we was going to one of the games and he clearly said to Frank, "You may have my name, but you've got to earn your stripes. You know, I ain't going to give you any leeway. You've got to earn your." And that boy would stay out 2-3 hours at the Chad Relief, kicking ball, learning his skills, honing his skills. And well, like I said, when he got glandular fever, yes, he was a fat fucker at the time then, but when he got that glandular fever, it did knock it off him. But for me, yes, all right. Chelsea is obviously was his club, but I think he also took umbrage to the way Redknapp and Frank Senior was treated by.
Yeah, I would imagine a lot of that went on as well.
Yeah.
But I think he was upset with the abuse he got after he left as well.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But I think that's a natural.
Yeah,
and still gets in the pub.
Of course he does. Howard saying, wasn't Dimmy given an ultimatum by his missus to leave London or she'll leave as he was caught playing away?
I don't.
That's speculation and hearsay, mate. We don't deal with
that.
Yeah,
we just covered that old man, yeah.
TV. Only the facts.
Joining the Spurs is just wrong, yeah. One man couldn't carry. Yeah.
Exactly, Sean.
Lampard is a blue. Garen's saying here, what pissed me off about Deck is he did those videos of him telling the kids, "Don't worry, I'm West Ham." Then he left to the only team I dislike more than Spurs. Yeah. And that's the thing. When you're kind of saying that, knowing full well your heart's set on joining that team, and then you see the videos when he joined them, and that.
That's what I was alluding to, Tony.
Yeah.
Paul Ince wore the shirt, wrong move.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you don't go telling kids either, "Don't worry, I'm West Ham, boys. Don't worry, I'm West Ham." And then, what was it? A matter of days later, he's signing for Arsenal.
Well, he's conducting the fans in Prague, wasn't he?
Yep.
And everyone knew he was going, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Fucking hell.
One more year, Declan Rice and all that they were singing, and he was
I
giving
know.
it
In
all
that
the
moment, what do you do if you're on that pitch? You just won that trophy, and you're like, I don't
start
know.
just waving and
Not
saying,
going to
I'm
knock
going,
him
mate.
too much for
All right.
that.
No, of course. Before we start, I think Mama's going anyway. Been a great stream, guys. Really enjoyed it. Thank you. And
Thank
she's
you
also
for
saying,
joining us, Mama.
please
Thanks,
make sure you
Mama.
give them all a like and a sub. And she's putting up your channels as well. So there's
Oh,
Jeff's
thanks,
channel.
Mama. Lovely. Thank you.
And
Thank you.
obviously, Green Streets and that. And as always, really appreciate it from Mama Flossie. Thank you.
Yeah,
And
one of the
good evening.
hardest working moderators in YouTube history, boys and girls.
Absolutely. Good evening and good night, Mama. Have a good sleep. Howard's put in here, Rio is a red, Defoe is a spud. Fuck them all.
Exactly, Howard. Exactly.
But
Fair play, Howard.
I mean, the Defoe one was an easy one because I know, like I said, I know the story because one of my players bumped into one of the nightclubs and asked him why you keep getting sent off, and he just said, "I don't like Rhoda. Just don't like Rhoda, and this is my way out of the club." He was purposely getting himself sent off to get out, which is a shame because when you think about what we made him into, and that's your way of trying to get a move, there's better ways.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, these players, they think they rule the roost.
Yeah,
He's another one, isn't he? The way he left.
They have to, revert to extreme measures to get their point across, or whatever. Like I remember when I was only ever playing amateur football, but I remember one time, I kept on trying to tell the manager of the team that he should let me take the free kicks, right? Because I've been practicing them for years, right? And the kid that was taking the free kick, or the lad that was taking the free kicks, I was about 17. I said, he hasn't got it. He can't get it over the first man and all this, that and the other. Anyway, so one day we get a free kick given, and it's the lad who takes the free kicks that got taken off and subbed because he was injured. So I just then took control. I said, right, I'm taking the free kick. And I took this free kick, scored this perler of a goal. And after that, the manager turned around and said to me, you ever do that again, you ever take another free kick, and you'll never play another minute's football for us. So I went, mate, there's your kit, fuck off.
There you go. Exactly it.
In amateur football, you can do that. But like what I'm saying is that, you have to go to extreme measures sometimes to get your point across. Defoe wanted to leave. He didn't like Rhoda, and he might have felt, well, the only way I'm getting out of here is if he don't like me. How can I get him to not like
He put
me?
a transfer request in, didn't he?
He did. It was refused, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was refused, and this was his way of doing things. He was literally purposely. I mean, one of my boys bumped into him and had a good old chat with him, and all of a sudden he goes, "Why do you keep on getting sent off?" And he said, "I can't fucking stand Rhoda. It's my way out. By hook, by crook, or whatever. Keep on doing this and that. Eventually, they're going to have to get got shot at me." And that was his words to be.
Well, David got relegated. He put in a transfer request, didn't he?
Still got rejected though.
Right. So what I'm saying is, the thing with Defoe, it's another the way he left thing, isn't it?
Of course it is. Of course.
And what you have to remember, right? As much as we hate all that and hate on him for it, he was probably badly advised.
As always.
He was pissed off, upset, angling his way out, couldn't seem to fight, right? He's made a bad decision, approached it badly. I think he's for years he wouldn't talk about it, but I think a couple of years ago he actually said that there's one thing he regretted is the way he left.
Mm.
And West Ham fans have never forgiven him and hated on him. He's a hate figure in the way that Lampard was a hate figure, like Paul Lynch is a hate figure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we've all had them. The thing is with West Ham now, I think if anyone leaves the football club now, they just get booed and harangued when they come back. And I'm not sure. The more we do this, the more these players seem to come and punish us. So maybe we should just stop doing it quite as much. Stop hating on them quite as vocally all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, because we get the negative effect, don't we? At the end of the
Wait
day,
till we get the result over them, and then perhaps give them a bit on their way off,
yeah, afterwards,
rather
innit?
than giving it to them on the way on, and they go
Yeah.
like "fuck you" and score against us.
Yeah, agree on that. It's true, isn't it? It is true.
Yeah. Like Lampard did regularly.
Yes, yeah, that's the true, isn't it? Usual saying, tomorrow's paper talk, Ajax striker Brian Broby and Sunderland midfielder Dan Neal. Oh, got to love the media. Budgie, just the facts, man.
Just the facts.
Who doesn't love a goon milk, Dan? Yeah, always great to see them. Would like to be a spud if Earthy sat on me. Yeah. Frisch is saying Defoe's the least of them. Ince is traitor number one.
Yeah.
I understand. I do understand.
Budgie's toughest opponent was Charlie Charles.
Charlie.
Good morning, Darren Higgins. Good to see you in the channel. Big up to yourself.
Darren.
Morning all. One of the famous Charles brothers. There you go. Right, gents. And before we finish the show, what do we think about the Villa game? Scores. What do we think?
I think it's a tough ask.
It's at Villa, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. If I'm being honest, I don't want to be negative, but I guess I am. I've not got great optimism for this game. I think we're probably going to suffer our third defeat of the season at their hands. And if you want me to put a score on it, I'll say 2-0. And hope that I'm wrong. I just think Potter's got an awful lot to deal with missing personnel. We've got no strikers, cutting edge up front. I'm not sure Somerville's going to be back or how fit he's going to be. Now we've got like no centre halves. Like the problems that we had before Potter came here haven't gone away just because Potter's here, and now he's got a smaller deck to choose from. It's really, really difficult. The only bonus they've had the midweek Champions League game, and hopefully it's took it out of them. But you know they got a few injuries, but they've still got Tielemans will tear us apart. Never mind anyone else.
True, I agree on that. I mean, obviously, Des has gone for a 2-1. Colin's gone for a Desmond. You've got Michael Chelsea going Villa 2-0. Howard's going for 1-0 for West Ham. Durant to score again. Absolutely. Where are you going with, Budge?
I'm with you, Jeff. I think we're going to come to our third defeat at Villa's hands this season in less than 2 months. Actually, it's probably less than 6 weeks. But I'm predicting an absolute rout. I'm afraid 3-1, 3-0. I hope I'm wrong. I hope it's the other way round.
Yeah, I'd love to be wrong.
Because obviously, I'm assuming Mavro misses this game as well, because of the red card.
Mavro suspended, yeah.
Yeah. So when you look at that, yeah, I think I'm going to go with you, Jeff. I think I'm going to go for a 2-0 as well, because I don't think it's we're very limited on options unless he kind of brings in the youth, and that's not going to change any of the dynamics of way we're going to play.
You can see a Thomas Soucek goal starting the scoring off.
That'd be nice if it was that, and it's that keeping hold of it, and that's their problem.
That's the problem, though.
Have to score first if we've got any chance, I think.
Yeah, Villa will take that as an absolute slap in the face, and then absolutely arse rape us. But you know,
I mean, Sean's saying here, last head says we get beat. We cannot do anything with all the injuries. At least the kids are getting minutes, which is a great shout. 3-1, hopefully we might nick something. Be nice if we could do that, because there's. I
mean, a Desmond, there would be no shame in.
No, not at all. Considering,
that'd be incredible if we
you take it all day long. Because the thing is, though, when you look at Villa, as much as they've got the capabilities of obviously beating us, they've also got they can do an Arsenal, be 2-0 up on that, and then go 2-2. So you never know. anything's possible.
Well, they could go all Spursy.
They've got that Martson at left back. They play him there sometimes. You know, he can be got at, right?
Yes,
You see him.
yeah,
He can be got at. The other side of that is they got Matty Cash on the other side that he could get at you. Right? He could get caught out, but he's a real threat going forward. And if you look at the problems, where our problems are in our team, we haven't got enough, I don't think, to stretch them to keep Matty Cash going backwards. So he doesn't need much encouragement. So he's coming forwards. So I've got all that down with Leon Bailey or someone plays down like that. They're going to be a real handful. I think it's a personnel problem. I'm not trying to put West Ham down. I just think, like, look at Palace, right? The only outlet we had against Palace, I hope to get out, was Kudus. They just stifled him. That's all they needed to do. But we didn't have anything else to offer because of the lack of personnel. Now, Somerville's back this weekend, and they're both on the pitch. Maybe we can give them something else to think about other than just Kudus, right?
Yeah.
But we're really struggling, I think, to keep them occupied. And then,
I mean, like,
short at the back.
Yeah,
it's
that's the
hard.
problem, isn't it? It's that part. I mean, like, you know, obviously Daz is saying be positive. We are being positive, Daz. I think it's just we're also being realistic because we know we're under no illusion Potter's got a hard job to do with this team.
Yeah.
But we also, at the same point, we know we're limited in the options because we ain't got nothing. And that's the worst part.
Do you think Andy Irving could get a part to play this weekend?
I think it's a great shout for him to get it. I mean, you know, if you think about it, we know roughly what the game's going to be like.
In the midfield, I think would be quite nice, quite tight.
I mean, well, not if you think about it in certain respects, because some of us are a little bit kind of suspect on Alvarez at the moment, the way he's playing.
Yeah.
So even need be, dump him on the pitch, put Irving in there with Solar and Souček and that, and then also at least you got Saint with a bit of fight, and they can rotate that around in the middle. You've got that option, and as you said, as Jeff said, if Somerville's back, at least we're not relying on one man. Because as you said, Palace did a number; they put 2 or 3 people on Kudus and that, and we had nothing.
Yeah.
So I think what I would do, I'd play probably a flat back 4. I'd probably play like Emerson, Kilman. I might have to put Soufal or something in there with Wan-Bissaka at right back. And I'll play Alvarez in front of him, and then probably I'm going to say that we've got Somerville available for the purposes of this. I'll play Alvarez there. I'll probably play Soler and Souček in front of them. I'll play Paquetá on like the left midfield, Somerville right midfield, and stick Kudus up front as like a number 9 or a false number 9, and see what we get some kind of tune out of that. Might not be the most exciting team, like, do you think it's a bit defensive and one thing? I don't know what options he's really got with what he's got available.
I think a better option, for rather than having Soufal as a right centre back, I would put Kilman on the right hand side and bring Creswell in as a left centre back.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of not against that. I prefer, but I just think Kilman might struggle to play on that side, which is why I've done it the other way around. But yeah, either or.
I mean, GP's saying they've got Celtic after us, so they might rest some players. So you never know. We might be lucky. Cash has a red card waiting to happen. Fresh.
That's true. That's true about that.
Went to have 2 high intensity games to our 1 in the week might work in our favour. So we can only hope on that. Old man's saying this is a free shot. We're no players and not knackered. That's true. Howard's saying Potter keeps us in the FA Cup. He'll get the love long time. And Brendan just reminded me, wrong game, Howard. Fresh is saying Irving's got a brain and good feet. Still gets the piss whipped through. Puzzled how he doesn't get on the pitch more. That's another thing. I mean, just for the last comments here, because I just realised the one thing we're not really covered, considering the total I put into the thumbnail in the first place, and you've mentioned about a flat back 4, Jeff, so that's kind of also made me ring. I mean, Colin said he'll play 1-4-4-2. I think it would work myself against Villa. There's a possibility of that.
I don't know what 2 we've got to go up front.
Hope for the best, I think.
4-3-3 would be more appealing.
So there's that. I'll have to see Irving giving a run of 3 or 4 games. It won't happen. If we just go back to the game on the weekend, I mean, there's that point when we at one stage we went 5 at the back. I mean, are we? That for me is, hold on. We had that with the previous manager. Potter, please don't go down that road. You know, did you have a moment of loss of memory, delusions of grandeur? Why go do that when the first couple of games where you've come in and that you've made an impression, and in that game, if you go down that path in the next couple of games, suddenly that credibility you've built up in a short space of time and that is suddenly going to deteriorate again, and we say, hold on, we've got Loppy 2.0 sitting next to us again.
Well, we could look at it another way and say he set the team up the way he did against Fulham, and they performed the way they did against Fulham. And I still maintain I enjoyed that game. I thought it was a really enjoyable game. I'm delighted we got the 3 points out of it, but I still maintain we were a bit fortunate to get the result out of that. And Potter sitting on the sideline might have looked at that and said, God, you know, I need to change this and that. We've got a bit vulnerable there. So he's altered things and then set the team up the way he has against Palace. And we got that sort of dull, drab display. Now, this week, he might be sitting there going, oh, that didn't fucking well. I can't set the team up like that. And he may come up with, and again, he's got to juggle the personnel that he's got to try and get a result out of the opposition that he faces. So we might see a 3/5 at the back, and that might be his preferred system. And I'm going to stick at this no matter what. But that you're right. If he continues a lot, and that's just going to be him. Everyone's going to soon get on he's stubborn, he's got no plan B.
Yeah.
It's not going to take long for people to turn on him, right? But he may just be having a look at what is, you know, so let's see how he lines up. And I'm sort of intrigued about what his lineup's going to be and how he's going to sort of deploy everyone, if I'm honest, right? I mean, even when he picked Cresswell against Palace, everyone was a bit, he's put Cresswell. But I looked at the team sheet and I thought, okay, well, I could see what he was trying to do, whether I agree with it or not. It's different, but at least you look at it and you go, well, I know where he's going with it. So there was some logic to it.
Yeah.
Because Lopetegui was like, you know, it was hard to work out any of it, wasn't it? Although you did notice Alvarez still went wandering up as the highest midfielder up the park. What the fuck's going on with that?
And this is where I think if you look at it, you know, we've got to consider what's his intention, because remember at one point apparently his head was turned as well. So I mean, James, before he left, he was saying about Guido, he's not supposed to be here now, but yet he's still here. So I mean, like you said, the problem is Potter's looking at it and thinking to himself, well, I've got this, oh no, he's out, and I've got, oh no, he's injured, and it's one of those, isn't it? And you suddenly look at your bench and it's kind of, you know, I'm stretched here. I'm really stretched. So they can't do much. As we know, they can't bring a Gerd back. Earthy can't come back yet. So we're stuck with what we've got. And you've got to feel sorry in certain respects, because as we was hoping for, at least we get one person over the line that's going to give us some kind of optimism of hope. But unfortunately, that's not the case. Old man saying, I think 5 at the back was to keep the ball as we had little going forward to stop them attacking on us, which I get that side of things. The problem with that, we then entice people because we're sitting so far deep. We encourage the team to come, instead of us kind of dominating half to 3/4 of our own pitch, we're allowing them to dominate that side of it. So we are actually compressing our own play, and it's counterproductive.
Yeah,
we did try and press Palace a little bit at times in the game, especially first half, but it wasn't very committed. It was, do you know? And it was very. They just sort of played around it really very easily. It was very not like the press that they tried to put onto Fulham when they tried to do it.
That's true.
You know, it was decidedly different. So I don't know, but maybe fatigue was coming. We've got a limited pool of players. That's the third game in 8 days. Maybe there's a bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm making excuses, but maybe there's just a bit of fatigue. I mean, they gave everything in the Villa and the Fulham games. I don't think anyone could question that.
No,
Right?
not at all. Not at all. Colin saying, play Kudus and Guilherme up front. Let's see if Guilherme, you never know. Pace trickery certainly give them something to think about. Somerville right mid, Paqueta left mid. As you
Guilherme's a mystery. He was crying out. We needed pace there, especially Palace. What that would have been? You think bring him on, give him a run, but
yeah,
all this stuff going on, you just don't know, do you?
It's weird what's with that one. I mean, I think we can talk to the cows come home, and I think we'll still never get the answer.
We'd have more chance. Play Ings over him.
Of course he will, Budget. I mean, look, we'd have more chance of understanding the British Rail network and buying a ticket to go up to Scotland than we would do fucking working out why your homie is not getting a game. It just tough, don't know.
More understanding of women than that.
Dear me, yeah, we've solved the Scientology side of it.
I don't know what it is you're smoking, mate.
I was going to say, bloody hell, but I want to hopefully Anton's and West Ham Network. Fresh is saying most teams default the banks of 5 and 4 with defender the final third. We've just got to be clinical in transition. Might have the players for it in the week if we cry up. I mean, that's the thing. Like you said, Jeff, I don't think we are fit. And that comes back to the previous manager's era. Considering you see the videos when he first came in, the players apparently was enjoying the training, it was laughter and joking and so forth. But we was blown out of our arse after 60 minutes. And these are supposed to be pro players.
And you got to think they said Soler had a knock, Pack had a knock. We got the injury lit like bloody hell. They're going down like flies, aren't they? Like we won't have nothing but the kids left at this rate if they keep falling like that.
Yeah, so we've been waiting for years to happen, and that we're going to have it in one game.
What was that, Bud? Sorry, mate.
Nothing a can of Railjex wouldn't have sorted out in our day.
White horse liniment oil, Budge. That's the better one.
That's the one. Yeah.
White horse liniment oil.
A tiger balm.
Oh yeah, stick the place there, but you know it worked wonders. It worked wonders. Unless you got it in the wrong areas, and then you knew about it.
Yeah.
Are any of you three doing a watch along Saturday?
I don't do a watch along usual, but
we're playing on Tuesday. Sunday, aren't we? We're actually on Sunday.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. So I might do one on Saturday, but there ain't going to be a lot to talk about.
I know, Tony. Villa probably beat West Ham, but hope not. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's. I mean, look, we'd love to see the boys do something, but we know we're limited at the moment. Without a doubt.
They go out there and get anything. I think they deserve like massive credit. Like
absolutely,
Villa are good side, right? You're looking at their strike force. We wanted to buy John Durand. We're apparently ready to pay 60 million for the fella, right? So we must rate him. Yeah. Ollie Watkins, we know all about. What a great goal he scored the other night, by the way.
Yeah.
That Morgan Rogers is looks fucking tasty. Leon Bailey tears us a new one every time he fucking lines up against us. So, I mean, we know that they got players that
they got Tielemans coming back this week as well, aren't they?
Tielemans, I think he played last night.
He played the other night. Yeah. I mean, funny you say about Watkins. I do believe his contract's nearing. So, if anything, if we've got no chance of getting Durant. I mean, look, I think we burnt our bridges with Villa, but if we had the opportunity to in there, put a cheeky big in for Watkins.
Yeah, well, I think we spoke. I don't know if we spoke about it. Did we speak about it on Tuesday? I was saying about it.
We did. Yeah.
I'd have him in a heartbeat. I know there's those that will go, he's 29 and we've got an age. He's a different kind of 29-year-old than the ones we've been looking at before, right? He's absolutely Premier League proven. He's a terrific finisher. Rarely injured long term, right? Picks up knocks, mixes the odd game, runs the channels, works as a lone striker, brings other people into play. He's everything you want, right?
That's true. Yeah.
I'd have him in a heartbeat, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They won't get him.
Don't worry, usual. We knew what you meant, mate. We know, but I'll more than likely will do one on Sunday. So always have laughter and banter when we do one of those. Apart from the last game, we just talked about food.
Oh, how would you know? It's
Yeah.
absolutely hell.
That's how you run faster.
Oh, mate, that's how the oranges go missing and end up falling out of your pants when you run back out onto the pitch.
Oh man, yeah, because obviously, as Mark's saying here, Monaco beat Villa 1-0. So can we? Absolutely. I mean, Villa were atrocious. If you watched the game, they were really pants. Frisch saying deep eat is OGV. GB saying Villa will want to beat us now. They need to climb up the table, which is true. They do. And for me, as I said earlier in the show, Jeff, I said because considering the piss take we did with the bids for Duran, for me, if I'm the manager, that's an easy one. You're starting and you're going to bang a couple of goals against West Ham because they literally took the mickey with us. That's an easy team talking in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, right, we got we just watched Mateta, right, up against Kilman and Mavropanos, right? Yeah, he absolutely fucking done Mavropanos time and again.
Mm-hmm.
Saw both the new one.
Right, he got him sent off, right, for making him foul him twice.
Yeah.
He made Kilman look like a fool, backing off of him.
Yeah.
And we think that John Duran, Ollie Watkins, or whoever else out front ain't going to give us a problem against Kilman and whoever it is around him. And it could be Cresswell and Kufal in a back fucking three.
Oh, dear me. Don't say that. Jesus.
No, but he could do that, right?
Yeah.
Kilman, Cresswell, and Kufal in a back three, right? Fucking hell.
But at least we know Mavropanos won't be playing.
Well,
No, so what I'm
yeah.
saying is we might have optimism. I mean, we've got to attach some realism to, you know, the team we're going to be putting out is going to be. I can't see how it can't be vulnerable.
Oh, just to interrupt you there, Ange Postecoglou confirms Dominic Solanke out for up to 6 weeks. He's done his knee.
Oh yeah, I thought he would. I knew he was out for a while. I didn't know it was like.
They just confirmed it's 6 weeks. Oh,
yeah.
Good day, David. Doing good day, Tony Cobber. Pano in the chat. Hope you're doing well, David. Good to see you. Getting rubbed down with a dock leaf before medicines. Yes. Blimey. But yeah, I mean, this one, as you mentioned, for me, I've got concerns over this player. And looking at that challenge he did, like you said, Jeff, he not only did he just back off, but the attempt to go for the ball where he kind of turned his back and just stuck his leg out. For me, he's playing, but he's down in tools in my eyes. There's something not right there. And I know people are saying, you know, the shoulder strap and everything else, but that's the top half of your body. And I know, obviously, it will give you strain along towards, you know, the lower part of your back, etc. But they don't stop you from putting a challenge in and standing your ground. But I've said it on previous shows. I think the last 6 games, Kilman, there's something going on there.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, and he has been struggling for a while. I do wonder, and I'm not trying to elevate Kilman to, like, you know, some kind of Alvin Martin status. Far from it, right? But I do wonder if the guy just looks to his right like that and goes, "Fucking hell, again."
Yeah.
This is the best we've got, right? What the fuck am I supposed to do here, right? Must be demoralising, yeah. You wait. It's an accident waiting to fucking happen, right?
Yeah.
And let's get it right. I quite like the look of Tadibo. The difference is when you got Tadibo on the ball and Mavropanos on the wall, right? Your arsehole ain't really going when Tadibo's on the ball, is it? Because you just think he's going to turn, he's just going to make a pass. Not what the fuck is he going to do with it now, right? Tadibo will make a lax error and we'll do a silly thing and it might lead to a chance or a goal. But I think he's a better footballer than Mavropanos.
Yeah, but Virgil van Dijk is susceptible exactly that as well.
Yeah.
So,
But Kilman ain't had Tadibo alongside him, right? I think he'd be a better partner. He's had like Mavropanos in the mainstay. And now this week we're talking about, do we really trust Kilman, and speculating like Casey might have to go in there. Now we've got like a kid going in alongside our centre half that's not really full of confidence in himself, got to worry about his own game, never mind worrying about the young kid that's next to him now. So I'm just saying, I just think this weekend is really, really difficult for West Ham, especially along that back line.
I mean, Sky's just come up with that Andrew Gomez thing and that. But I think if you're looking for the youngsters more than anything else, you've got to think at that age, in certain respects, they've got no fear. They've been given the opportunity. And you see with some, the recent ones we've kind of brought on for a little while, there is, in certain respects, a little bit of maturity about them. So
there's quite a lot of maturity about them because the coaching staff they've got around them in the under 23s are very good.
Oh yeah.
And you've got the likes of Colton Cole popping in from time to time and that, and telling them what it's like to represent this club and things like that. So they know, they've already had their education on what it means to stand in front of the crowd or to play in front of the crowd. They have already had their education on it,
That's true.
They just have to put it into practice. All they got to do is, concentrate on their game. I know I'm saying all they've got to do is, and it's the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But, they haven't got to worry about integrating into the side and all that because they already do that. They do that in training sessions, and this and that. So, especially if they're looking to use them in a game, whether it be as a sub or not, they are brought into first team training every time. So, it's not like they're going to get starstruck and all that sort of nonsense. They're already used to, going in deep and going in hard on people like Paqueta and Kudus and that, they're used to it already, So to play alongside those guys and do that to another team, it's just going to boost their game. And that's why I think you'll find that a lot of the younger lads have been having quite successful debuts.
Yeah.
Because they need to impress, and they do.
I mean, obviously, Colin's saying he feels we need 2 new centre-backs. Don't think the centre-backs are that great. Good on the ball, but not defending and not good in the air. Yeah.
He's right about that.
Yeah.
Tadibo's not great in the air either.
Yeah, which is quite strange, isn't it, really? He's good at it, on the ground, but you think you want an all-round player, really.
They all seem to get caught under the ball far too easily. I don't know how they...
# bring back Dalton.
Yeah, cool. Well, yeah, because if you look at that, Jeff, the most obvious one was the Fulham game, wasn't it, with Iwobi?
You can look back. It happens all the time. You can go back to the first day of the season when Mavropanos got stuck under the fucking corner.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Come in from day one, right?
Mm.
And collectively, they've done it all season.
Yeah,
get stuck under the ball like that. At times, you can't win every ball that comes in. We can, do you know what I mean? We're not but there's too many balls that they should be doing better with that they're not, and leads to goals.
And I'm going back a bit here. You got to think where we kind of improve, because you got to think over the years. The one thing I used to joke about with when I had people ribbing me, "Oh, you're West Ham, you're this and the other." And I used to joke around and said, "Yeah, you know what we do? Every West Ham player's got a roll of red carpet underneath their armpits. So every time a striker comes forward, we put the bat down. There you go score a goal." But then in come Wally Downs, and then suddenly we tightened up the defence. We was a lot more better in that kind of thing. And we know he's gone by the by, and I don't think we've actually replaced anyone like for like in the coaching team, basically. So what you're saying at the moment, yeah, it's these are pro players, and you don't become shit overnight. Basically, you know, there's more of an underlying problem, and as we said earlier, Potter's we've got to be under no illusion, and I think we've all said it ourselves. Potter's got a bloody hard job, and the fact that we're still waiting for a signing makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have great.
I can kind of understand them not signing anybody because of, like Potter said on numerous occasions in his post and pre-match interviews, I'm concentrating on the players I have here. I can't afford to be thinking about
Absolutely,
him because he doesn't play for me. I can't afford to think about them. So, you know, that's why we've got the likes of Tim Stuyton and, you know, the legend that is David Sullivan. You know, we've got those scouts and whatever you call them. But, you know, so I can kind of understand why we haven't brought anybody in, especially if Potter is being offered people and he's saying, just tell me when you've got someone. Do you know what I mean?
True.
Well, I said in a chat, I think it's before Lopetegui got sacked. Before, you know, before he's announced he's been sacked and it took days to actually sack him, like, you know, before he was being sacked. And obviously January was coming up, and I put into one of the chats, I can't remember what channel it was on. I don't think we've got a lot. I mean, I said, I think we've probably got about 20, if we got 25 million, right? So we've got I think my comment was something like, January's coming up, we've got Lopetegui, right? No money, well, max 25 million, right? And I'm still kind of a mind like that.
Even in December.
I don't think we've got lots of money for January, and I don't think it's a great time to I know people going to go out and spend this, that, and the other. It's got to be the right target, though. So if it's the right target,
I mean, like the £57 million bid for Duran, that was
bollocks. Yeah, bollocks. It's bollocks. But let's get it right. If they've genuinely identified the £57 million striker, and that was going to be the guy, and we need to get him now and not miss out on him, and we don't really have the money, but we'll juggle the back and spend that money, they should do it, right? If it's a panic buy and we're getting down to the bones of it and we end up with another type Fulkrug, if you like, where we ship someone in, right, on the last minute for 25, 27, whatever million pounds it is, just to get someone in because we're getting desperate, I don't think we should do that.
No, exactly.
I agree. Not on a permanent deal. But
loans are different, right? You know, loan to the end of the season is what it is, right?
We got Lingard in on a panic deal. I mean,
but that's all right. Loan to the end of the season sound. You know, I kind of don't really care.
Fine. But
the opposite side of that, though, Budgie, we got bloody Fulkrug on the never kind of thing, and look where that's turned out because we got the late
we shot ourselves in the foot with that, didn't we? You know, like we do many times.
Yeah.
But you know, I think that we've got to sign an attacker of some description. We keep saying a striker. We don't play for a striker.
Yeah, that's for the Andre Silva stuff. I'm not particularly excited about it.
No,
it's not someone. But if this is the intention, right? This is the guy we're getting on loan, right? He's here till May, basically. We're sending out the message we're not spending the money or getting that. He'll have to do is basically what they're saying.
Right? That's the term, isn't it? That's the term.
But I kind of get. Whether I approve of it or not, that aside, I kind of get it rather than say, we'll have to buy someone. Just get this guy in and make it do to the end of the year, and then we get the right person.
Yeah.
I kind of get that, right?
That's true. Who is our defensive coach now?
It's that Bruno, isn't it?
think so.
He was a defender for Potter at Brighton, wasn't he? He's on the. He was he was an absolute lunatic, wasn't he? He was a fullback, was he a left back or
Like
right back?
yeah.
Yeah.
Lunatic,
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah. I guess it is
Him.
defensive. Yeah,
He was
Bruno.
a player that I thought that West Ham would really have done well
Was
with.
he a right back? Was he? I think he was a right back.
Yeah,
wasn't
he
he?
was. Yeah, but he kind of reminded me a little. His attitude towards the game, I think, kind of reminded me a little bit of Julian Dix and Thomas Repka.
Yeah,
He was that kind of no nonsense. Get out of my way! I'm fucking
Yeah.
steamrolling.
Fucking loony.
true.
Yeah. Oh, it's him. Oh, great. Oh, I can't wait till he really gets stuck in. Yeah, mate. Tough defenders.
The Assembly said the same for most teams now. New merchandise, but no signings. this is true. Usual now talking about and Ian talking about airplane in the film. The pilot talked to the young kid. Have you ever seen the grown man naked? Yeah, Roger, Shirley. Don't call me Shirley. Oh man, Kilman's looked awful. He's had more partners and fucked more than Katie Price. Jesus Christ, this is true.
What a subtle way of putting things.
I would say, Budgie, don't diss the owner. He's a legend in the Dwarf Six Party scene. He's well respected, apparently.
I like the way you went well respected. That's very good.
He's cost by their boobs. Yeah, bloody hell. Ted the Emma saying, Sullivan's owner saying that we've got money just to say, try and say that we did try and get players and need to shut us up. Yeah, the usual one, isn't it? Yeah, we did try, but yeah, we are on Sky, the usual anyway, so that should be an easy one.
Oh, good. And it's Sunday, so I'll have to stop playing darts to watch it.
Of course you're going to do, Budgie, yeah. All the people in the pub have got to move over to one side of the pub because they've got to make sure they're not going to be speared by Budgie. Yeah. Surely we could have got someone on loan from the MLS. Are we that brave, though, to go over there and to get anyone?
Well, do you know something? There are one or two players in the MLS that are pretty good, and, to be fair, there have been one or two players that have come here from the MLS that have done reasonably well. You know? I mean, you look at Jonathan David, for example. I mean, I know he's not at a Premier League club at the moment, but he's been on our radar for 4 bloody seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And he came from the MLS originally. We started looking at him while he was with...
Excuse me.
Can't remember who it was he was with now, but we started looking at him, and during the time we were looking at him, he transferred to the German side he was with.
But you could have a list about as long as the list of the strikers that we've been linked to in this transfer window, of the strikers that, what you've just said, right? We've been looking at him. We've been looking at him. Fucking, that's all we do.
Yeah.
We fucking have a look at him. We have a look at him. And we've been following him for fucking 3 years, 4 years. Why don't we just go and fucking get someone?
Whatever happened to Jonathan Carr?
Right? It's infuriates me because the fans get along and say, oh, we could have had him 3 years ago. We could have had this. He's gone here now. Oh, now everyone's alerted to him. And why don't we just stop fucking looking for 3 years and go out and fucking get someone?
It's Sullivan, isn't he? He loves to window shop, Jeff. That's the problem. He wants to window shop, and then he dangles the carrot in front of us. We're looking at this player. We're looking at that player. We're looking at this player. We are, I mean, like there, you see him, and you see it on the social media. We're in advanced talks, are we? I mean, we're saying about this Ezekiel fella. He's supposed to be coming 24 hours. He's supposed to be here. Benzouzi. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. He's supposed to be today, really, doing talks, advanced talks, £10 million plus 3 million.
Yeah, but
nothing.
In another outlet, it says it's a load of old fucking bollocks, right?
Yeah,
And they
that's
haven't
the thing.
accepted the bid, right? So you read one thing, you read another thing. Well, guess what? Sounds like the one that says it's a load of old bollocks is right, because he ain't there doing a fucking medical, is he?
That's the thing. That's the truth, mate.
We're going to have to
That's
start
the
wrapping
truth.
it up in a minute, Tone. I've got.
We are indeed, yeah. Just want to say on this one, because Stephen Langham's saying, obviously, Sunday game may be called off due to the storm. So, yes.
Doing us a
Storm-
favour, that would.
Ewan is obviously going to be in full effect. And be careful where you are, whatever neck of the woods you are, because obviously red warnings have been issued
Yeah,
there.
definitely.
Possible winds of 100 mile an hour that could be there and that. So be safe over the next couple of days, guys.
Yeah, second that.
You know, I know obviously where I'm at the airport,
Go
I get
somewhere
notifications all the
that's
time.
safe, but, yeah, I have plenty of supplies. I suggest the pub, but you know, you don't. Have
No, you forgot the Fortress of Solitude. It's Jeff's place. That's where we're all going.
There we go. We can go, Jeff. Right. See you all at Jeff's Saturday afternoon. 2 o'clock.
Let's just catch up with the chat, and then also we will be saying goodnight to these wonderful
Yeah,
people.
cool. Do that, and then I'm going to head off. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we come up to 3 hours, and it's great.
I
mean,
know. I've enjoyed it, but I didn't realise I'd been on so long. Well, I did miss the start, though, didn't I?
No, you did. But I mean, the main thing when you look at it, you know, when we can start interacting with, you know, these wonderful people that stay with us, you know, for 3 hours basically.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about, and that's the key thing in it. You know, we love our club. We wanted it to do right, and these guys are saying exactly what we're expressing basically.
Yeah.
West Ham is in the same as the one that used as the Twin Towers. Yeah, the radar. Yeah, no, we use the one that the Trotters had. They nicked from Gatwick Airport, courtesy of a certain man that's the other side of me, and my finger disappeared. It drives me nuts, Jeff.
Not
Another
guilty
team
of that.
identify a player he's bought before we know it. We are shambles. The only team I know that chase the same players window after window. That's it. That's why we miss Gokares. Yeah, there's that as well. And Banzini meant to be here, having a medical for 30 million. Yeah, meant to be here. Taking the slow boat to China though, because he's gone the wrong direction.
He's gone far to Devo's house. Yeah. We're just having a little catch up before he comes over.
Man. But people in the chat, do not forget, you know, we had James here from the 20 Zone and that. Go and see his channel, go and give him a shot. The Bowling Lounge, definitely go over to that channel. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. And of course, my co-host on a Thursday night, Green Street Elites. Make sure you also go and smash a like, share, and subscribe as always. Thanks for being with us. Like I said, be safe over the weekend with this storm. Don't go do something stupid and go crashing out. And we want to make sure I've crashed and burned. Oh man, you're not supposed to do that yet. The storm's not here. But other than that, great show, Tony, Budgie, and Jeff. You lovely gentlemen. Keep up the good work. You all do. Take care and good night to you.
Thanks,
good
Colin.
night to yourself as well, fellas. Thanks for hanging around with us. And we are basically out. So good night all, and God bless. Take it easy.
Good night. Come on, you
Come on,
guys.
you Iron.